There should be like a Kremling virtual pet, and you can raise it from an egg. or a baby, if they give live birth. Okay, maybe in the future we'll find out. You know, that's one of the exciting things about the times we currently live in, is that maybe in the future more will be revealed and we'll finally get to see a Kremling giving birth live on a game or in the movie, in the Donkey Kong movie, and or laying an egg. Hi, hello. Oh, sorry, my husband is here just as I'm talking about live Kremling birth. Wait a second, it's not off yet. Alright. Well, they don't have a male-only society, they just have a, like, mostly male society. Yeah, the whispers of the victor. Okay, so here's the thing. I have this comic open, but I also have the novelization open. And I figured we'd start with the novelization, actually, because that one is not new to us. We read it back in April, and so I thought we could start with it because we can build up to the new stuff, you know? I'm gonna cut some of this beginning stuff out for the YouTube video, but it is going to start with us talking about the clump birth or whatever. Anyway, oh look, I finally got me this shirt. It's so, like, I didn't expect the, I don't know, I guess I could have expected just from, like, looking at it, but this thing is, like, really so big. The logo, it really takes up, like, the entirety of the shirt, so, but also I got the hoodie, too. I really spoiled myself, because Fangamer got these back in stock, so I decided it's now or never. The only thing I'm missing is, like, the plushie of, like, the Rare logo. It's just, like, a plushie, but it just is the Rare logo, and so I could snuggle that while wearing these things, and it really just feels like a big warm hug, you know? My ring light was a little bright there. Yeah, if I scooted back a bit, maybe you could see it better. It's funny because the jacket is an extra small. These are both extra smalls, but they still feel kind of big on me, but that's just how it is. Everything I ever get seems to be a little big on me, so, you know. Oh, even the, like, little zipper thing. It's the wonderful symbol of Rare that I did not understand was supposed to be an R for, you know, quite a long time in my life. I don't remember when I first, like, grasped that, but seeing as I've been playing Donkey Kong games since I was, like, 4 or 5, and I probably didn't understand that it was supposed to be an R till I was, like, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something. I just thought it was, like, a symbol they had made up. Just the symbol of Rare. I got my hair stuck in the zipper. My hair is starting to become more and more of a problem just in my daily life. Not that I'm gonna cut it, but I need to, like, put it back more often. It gets in the way. It threatens to, like, get into my food when I'm eating and other stuff, so I just need to, like, put it up more often. The Disney D always looked like a G to me when I was a kid, but I think I figured that one out first because I was, like, I had to confront, like, why are they using a G, but it's like a backwards G, but then I was like, oh, it's a D. I had to really think about that one because, so I used to play a lot of games on Disney's website, you know, like, back in the 90s, early 2000s, whatever, a lot of, like, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney had, like, websites for kids to go on and just play, like, a ton of games, so, They use the, like, Disney D symbol in a whole lot of their, like, Flash games and, like, the loading screens and stuff like that, so I saw it all the time, like, and then I had to think about it and confront the fact it was not a backwards G, it was a D. Hey Malik, how's it going? I'm wondering if I can adjust my camera a little bit. Nah. You can't see my rare shirt if I have this zipped up all the way, but you can see the little... Maybe depending on how hot I get throughout the day, I'll like zip it and unzip it. Like between every ad break, I'll change it up. What? My hair is ridiculous. Oh my god, I got it stuck in the zipper again. Okay. I feel like I'm going to like Rareware University. I would say that I want to catch up on the chat, but I don't even know if I do. We are going to Kong College because we're going to be doing a lot of reading today. Like I said, we'll start with the novelization, which I had pulled up in a different browser window, I think. Let me find it. Let me find where I had that. Yeah, let me just separate that out. Oops. Well, you know, there was actually a time when I was like streaming full-time and trying to make more of a, like, more money off of it, and maybe trying to consider making a career out of content creation, where I was like, we gotta like keep it more kid-friendly just to make the audience as wide as possible. Like, I can't swear, we can't be making dirty jokes or anything like that. And then I was like, I can't do this. So, you know, among many other benefits of not relying on this for too much money that I need is just getting to be a little like, whatever. Alright, I'm gonna crack open my cherry Coke. Remember a few weeks ago when I was like, oh, when I'm doing this, I'm always gonna have like a healthy, like, banana juice or some kind of fruit juice or something to fit the theme. But now my life is just degraded and I'm like, I got a soda. Well, yes, my career started off making the nuts and bolts flying penises, and then eventually I tried to be more respectful and it didn't work out, that's what I'm saying. It's a fruit drink. It's a cherry Coke. You're right, Sage, it's a fruit drink. Alright, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit, and then I'm going to open up this, let's see. Open up this novel here. You're gonna crack open a good book. Nobody reads anymore, but we're gonna read here together today. There we go. That's better. Wait, this is Rumble in the Jungle. That's not what I wanted. Why is this called Donkey Kong Country on the page? But this is the Donkey Kong Land one. Hold on. I gotta find the actual one. I was lied to by the Internet Archive. We will be reading this one soon, but not yet. That's the funky prisoner of war story. That's the one where Clump was shaking the cart, if you know what I mean. Okay, hold on. Okay, I think I found the right one here. I need to log into the internet. I feel like I didn't have to log in last time I did this, but now it wants me to, so. Okay, I'm officially borrowing this book from the Internet Archive. Hope no one else is trying to check this out at the same time as me. I don't know if that's how it works, but... It's actually been a very long-standing debate here on my stream if Donkey Kong himself can read, because it's a little unclear. And even in Bonanza, most of the things, it's like Oddrock or Pauline reading it for him, but I think you can read stuff in the times of the game when Pauline is not with you, so I think that officially finally confirms that DK can read. After all these years, we finally got a game. That's why Bonanza is truly the most important Donkey Kong game. It confirms that DK can read. A long, unknown question. Because the only letters that we know he interacts with is, like, the D and the K on his tie, but he could just know those two letters, you know? Sorry, I'm just trying to, like, find the right... It's weird because I'm just gonna be, like, looking at the screen the whole time, so I don't know what the, like, best camera angle for this should be. Nope. I would have set this up a little better in advance, but I didn't have time today. This is true, he does judge, especially Grumpy Kong's handwriting. Which implies that Donkey Kong himself he must have meticulous handwriting if he's gonna go around judging other people. Okay. Gonna go back to the beginning here, and then I'm going to... Let's see, I'll put the stream preview over here, and I will put this on the screen. There we go. I'm excited. This book has some good stuff in it. It's been like less than a year since we first read this, but so much has happened since then, especially as Donkey Kong fans. It's gonna feel fresh and new, I believe. I think the pages and stuff are pretty, like, consistent. Yeah, so you can tell me if this ever gets a little, like, off-kilter, but... Oh, I better hide the... It's not Rental Rando anymore. Okay. Okay, so now that we're all set up, I figure I will probably start the YouTube video around, like, right here, you know. But today we're going to be looking at the official Donkey Kong Country novelization. Now, there's two other books like this, and one of them is for Donkey Kong Land, and one of them is for Donkey Kong Country 2, and we'll read those when we get to those games. But I actually read all of these, so I got through this book and the DKC2 one and half of the Donkey Kong Land one back in April. April 1st was my April Fool's Day stream, and that was the night before Bonanza was revealed in the big, like, Switch 2 presentation, so that's kind of wild. So, like I was just saying, so much has happened since then, that even though it's been, like, half a year since I read these, like, you know, I'm gonna let myself be surprised again. There's a lot I remember about this, but so much has happened in our fandom since then that, you know, there's probably stuff that's gonna take me off guard again. So, now, the things that I remember, okay, well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you haven't been here before, but you know, been here meaning, you know, having read this excellent book, but the animal buddies do talk, so just prepare yourselves for that. And they talk in a lot of the comics we're going to look at, too. So, if you're not a fan of talking animal buddies, then I'm sorry, but I am. I am an animal buddy, like, talk believer. I think, I said this before, but in a world where, like, the apes and the gorillas can talk, and the chimps and the monkeys and all that, Like, why can't the rhinos talk? Why can't the swordfish talk? You know, like, maybe it's just my influence from also growing up with Banjo-Kazooie, where, like, all the animals are talking, and some of them are more or less anthropomorphic than others. Like, you know, why shouldn't all the animal buddies just be able to talk to the Kongs? Like, I just always figured they could talk. And then it was kind of shocking to me to know that so many other, like, Donkey Kong fans didn't like that. It's like, no, Rambi's just like a... He's just like a rhino. He's maybe slightly more intelligent than an average rhino, but he can't, like, talk to DK. And it's like, why not? Why not, though? I'm not good with voices, so, like, don't expect too much out of me on that front, okay? Alright. So... I don't know why the cover of this book is, like, the scan of it is so dark. It's very ominous. Like, at first I thought this was, like, I was looking at this and I thought it was just because I wasn't logged in or borrowing the book or something, so it was, like, darkened and, but no, it just, I don't think it actually looks like this in real life. This is just the scan of it, but it's kind of scary. Yeah, this whole book is actually about Blackout Basement and, like, Stop and Go Station. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to use the appropriate music for a given part in the story. So let me put it on, like, the loop. Alright, everybody. You ready? You ready to get into it today? Okay, so some of the illustrations in this are pretty good, although the ones in the other books are better. I was sad because I thought this was the book that had the, like, the meme pointing Kremling, but that's actually Rumble in the Jungle, so we'll get to that when we play Donkey Kong Land, but I thought that was this book, but it's actually not, so alas. True, this actually just displays how dark this story is gonna get. Does it have, like, the back cover? Oh, here we go. Nice. So in case you didn't know what you were getting into when you picked this book up off the library shelf, he lives in a treehouse. He's a big, hairy guy, and boy, does he love bananas. Meet Donkey Kong as he swings out of the video game screen and into the pages of his very own book. Unfortunately, a horde of evil Kremlings has stolen something precious from Donkey Kong. Now they've disappeared. Can Donkey Kong stop the Kremlings in time? So we got Kremlings described right on the back of the book, so if you were like, I don't give a fucking shit about this big hairy ape, I don't care about gorillas, but you're like, ooh, Kremlings, like me, then you would pick this book off the shelf and be like, hell yeah, I can't wait to find out more about whatever the fuck a Kremling is, because this does not really explain what they are, like, whatsoever. It's like, you could have called them, like, reptiles, crocodiles, I don't know, but it's like, what the hell is a Kremling? Imagine, like, not playing the game, but just reading this book. And this is just your, like, exposure to the world of Donkey Kong. I have to put, okay. Now it's just gonna be looping one song. Okay. Let's go back to the title theme. Yeah, this naughty, his life is about to end, like, 1 second from now. Okay. So, Donkey Kong Country Rumble in the Jungle, that's the Donkey Kong Land book, which is very, very different from the actual... We'll get there when we read that book, but, like, I really wish they had copied the fourth wall breaking meta plot of Donkey Kong Land, except instead of Cranky saying no one's gonna want to play this game because it's on the Game Boy and the graphics are bad, it would be like them saying no one wants to read this book because it's like a book and kids don't read anymore and they only want to play video games. But I don't know what the book would have, like, actually been about in that case. So it really has nothing to do with that, and it has, like, a pretty original plot. And this book is dedicated to Matt's first year. So Matt, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you've read this book in your life. I guess that's the children of the child of one of the authors or the illustrator or something. I don't know. Michael Teitelbaum or Ron Zalmi. Baum means tree in German, but I don't know what title means besides, I don't think it means title. some type of tree, some type of German tree. I was thinking that, Reiji. I was like, would it be like a meta plot, like there's a monster at the end of this book, except they try to keep you reading it instead of stopping? Just like DK and Diddy show up on every page, and they're just like, keep going, and then Cranky's like, no, you want to stop, you know it. Go play some video games, you dumbass kid. Alright. So I'm going to, let's see. We start out in the storm, so what's some appropriate music here? Because DK Island Swing does not seem right for the storm, you know? Like, it needs to be something more menacing. Like this. Like Misty Menace. Okay. The storm on Donkey Kong Island would not let up. Rain poured down in sheets. Thunder shook the tall trees, and lightning split the sky. On the ground below his treehouse, Donkey Kong stood talking to his little buddy, Diddy Kong. Sorry it's your turn to stand watch on such a miserable night, pal, said Donkey Kong. That's okay, replied Diddy. It was just as bad last night when it was your turn to guard the bananas. We just can't afford to let our guard down with those Kremlings, Donkey Kong explained. The Kremlings were evil creatures who had come to live on Donkey Kong Island. Okay, so now we know what Kremlings are. They're evil creatures. Could still be anything. Like, I'm just imagining reading this book and not having, like, knowing absolutely nothing about Donkey Kong Country. Like, just picking this book up off the shelf and, like, so what is a Kremling? Is it like are they like aliens? Are they like squid creatures from outer space? We don't know. We just don't know. Their factory polluted the island's air, and lately they had been stealing food supplies from the island's many inhabitants. Turn the music back down just a tad. Don't worry about me, Diddy said. I'll guard our bananas with my life. You can sleep soundly with Diddy Kong on patrol. Well, maybe we can talk about Crocodile Isle more when we get to DKC 2, but I always do think that the reason that they, like, naturally tended towards becoming pirates was because their home island, which did grant them, like, so much as a species, but it also was a pretty hostile place that wasn't, like, really good for, you know, actually growing food on or anything like that. So they had to kind of go out and pillage and plunder neighboring islands and places. Yeah, they're like just little imps. They're just like little demons, or they're like the red guy from Cow and Chicken. Anyway. Thanks, kid, said Donkey Kong, giving his young friend a gentle pat on the head. You're gonna make me proud. Donkey Kong climbed up into his treehouse. He curled up in bed, listening to the pounding rain and the wind lashing against his roof. He soon drifted off into a deep sleep. In the stormy jungle below, Diddy Kong stood watch in front of the banana storehouse. I'm gonna make Donkey Kong proud of me, Diddy repeated to himself. Donkey Kong was Diddy's idol. He wanted to be just like the big monkey when he grew up. Diddy figured that standing guard against the Kremlings on a terrible stormy night was a good way to act like a hero. That's, Andre, that's because I'm right. Suddenly, Diddy heard a sound. It was not easy to hear over the noisy storm, but Diddy thought it sounded like footsteps in the jungle brush. Then again, you can't take anything that happens in this book as, like, too canon, considering it also involves Donkey Kong having a backpack full of tiny little barrels that he, like, throws at people all the time, but, you know. You can adopt what you want from this book to be canon if it doesn't conflict with the games too much. If you think Diddy has a Wojak sort of energy here, wait until you see the pointing Kremling images, but that doesn't come into the next book, unfortunately. Halt! Who goes there? Diddy shouted. There was no reply. A few moments passed, then Diddy heard the sound again. Footsteps, he thought. It's definitely footsteps. A knot formed in Diddy's stomach. His hands began to shake, palms sweaty, mom's spaghetti. Stay calm, he said to himself. Donkey Kong would be brave in this situation, and so I'm going to be brave too. Diddy stood up straight and shouted in his loudest voice, I am the brave Diddy Kong! Show yourself if you're friendly. If you're not, then get ready for the fight of your life. Again, Diddy got no answer. I love that he's trying to be so badass, and, you know, the Kremlings are just, like, looking at each other and being like, oh, please, come on. Look at this guy. Who does this guy think he is? He doesn't even have his peanut guns yet. He began to doubt himself. Could I just be imagining the footsteps? Maybe it's nothing at all. Just as Diddy convinced himself that the footsteps were only in his imagination, a horde of Kremlings leapt from the bushes. Wah! We still don't know what to picture here. Like, a bunch of little squid aliens, demons, I don't know. They jumped out of the bushes. The fight of our... Oh, it's Clump time. All right. I always say that Clump is actually the secret... He's secretly the main Kremling. Like, forget about K. Rool. Especially because, like, you know, in these early days when K. Rool was still supposed to be kind of, like, secretive. Like, oh, he's the mysterious king. He's out there on his boat, but we don't really know anything about him. And, you know, even in the manual when he's, like, just a silhouette, and they didn't want to reveal what he looked like. I feel like Clump gets to be sort of the unofficial, like, main guy, you know? Yeah, they're just, like, Russian guys. They're just, like, Russian humans. Well, yeah, he's the general, and that's not just something from the cartoon. That was... I don't know if that was referenced in the instruction... Hold on, I got the instruction manual here with me still. But I think this book might say that he's the general. Hold on. Looking for Clump officially being called a general here in my... in the ancient texts. Well, it just says his helmet will protect him from attacks from above, and in this story, he is not referred to as a general yet. But, you know, at some point he does gain that title, I'm pretty sure, in something outside of the cartoon. Oh no, there is a drawing of him, Jero. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a drawing of his nipples. You just wait and see. I think it might be on the very next page. Yeah, he's called a general in the DK64 manual for sure, but... It's referred to that K. Rool has, like, 3 generals, and I guess it's those 3 that you see in the cutscene at the beginning. It's, like, a Kasplat and Clump and just, like, I don't know, it's just, like, I don't remember who the other person is. It's just, like, a random Kritter or something. Anyway, we're gonna stop. You know, when I was, reading this the first time, we tried to get through it fairly quickly, because I was trying to get through, like, 3 books in one session, and I only got through 2.5, but... Here we can take our time and have these discussions. But anyway, the fight of our lives, eh? Ha 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 ha, cackled Clump, the leader of this group. He's the leader of the bunch, you know him well. How foolish of Donkey Kong to leave his precious bananas guarded by a mere child. I'm no child, yelled Diddy Kong. I'm as tough as Donkey Kong, and I'll prove it. I'm afraid that is exactly what you're gonna have to do, Monkey, Clump said. Then he screamed, Kremlings, dispose of this pest! 2 Kremlings raced at Diddy from opposite directions. He reacted quickly. Just as the Kremlings reached him, Diddy jumped straight up into the air. Diddy was a great jumper. In fact, he could jump higher and farther than even Donkey Kong. The 2 Kremlings crashed into each other right at the spot where Diddy had been standing. I think when I read this the first time, I compared it to that, like, one DK64 cutscene where he's, like, flying around with his jetpack and, sorry, there's, like, a fuzz. Is this, like, a spider web? What is going on here? There's, like, something floating right in front of me. It was very distracting. Anyway, the DK64 cutscene where he's, like, flying around with his jetpack and he makes the 2, like, critters crash into each other. I'm pretty sure that happens. I don't know. Sometimes... I've seen those cutscenes, like, so many times in my life, but some of them just don't make any sense, so it's hard to remember what happens in some of them. I did have a Squitter, crawling on my blanket the other day. Well, we'll see if I get any today. There was like one time when I was streaming and a spider just like crawled behind me on my chair and I didn't even notice it at the time. And like somebody clipped it. Alright. I actually came across that like clip the other day when I was looking at old stuff. Diddy came down on the head of another Kremling, startling the evil creature. I told you, Krimbums, I'm tough, shouted Diddy. Diddy's gotta work on his insults. Meanwhile, a short distance away, Donkey Kong slept soundly in his treehouse. All this like, Diddy is literally yelling at the top of his lungs, and like, Kremlings are yelling at him, and they're just like running around and crashing into each other and stuff, and DK's just like, honk shoo, he's just me up there. Like, I guess the storm is really strong and he can't hear, because he's not that far away, like he's just up there in the treehouse, but he's a sound sleeper. But Pauline is able to wake him up fairly easily. There he is! There's the nips! I told you. You know, spoiler alert, but I did tell you. Speaking of people who are heavy, I just... This is a good illustration. What can I say? I love the illustrations in these. The sounds of the struggle were drowned out by the noise of the raging storm. Yeah, that's DK's excuse, I guess. Back at the banana storehouse, Diddy started his favorite move, the cartwheel attack. He sprang off his hands and spun feet first into Clump. Wait, I don't remember. Is this going to tell us how the Clump flattened Diddy, like we were talking about a couple weeks ago? Like when he... Did he ground pound him, or did he do the belly flop move? We might find out in a few paragraphs. The Kremling leader fell to the ground. 2 more Kremlings dove at Diddy, who grabbed Divine and swung out of reach. Also, this is our first illustration, so this is what we get to finally find out what Kremlings look like. And we've been picturing them this whole time as, like, little mischievous goblins or something. And now we're like, what the fuck? He's like a reptile man, I guess. He's a lizard monster with nips. And if you were to only see this illustration and you don't know what the rest of them look like, you would assume that they all have nips. Like, every single one of them. We don't know, just from reading this book and looking at the illustrations, we don't know that that's, like, Clump's thing. It's, like, signature TM. Yeah, you know, he's the leader, but we don't know that he looks any different from the rest. So you can just assume all the Kremlings look exactly like this, but he's just got the hat, so you know he's special. The Kremling leader fell to the ground. I don't remember if I read this paragraph yet or not. 2 more Kremlings dove at Diddy, who grabbed Divine and swung out of reach. Diddy fought fiercely, giving the Kremlings a tough battle, but he was outnumbered. Finally, 5 Kremlings attacked Diddy at once. Holy fuck. Wrestling the squirming monkey to the ground. The Kremling stuffed Diddy into a barrel. Clump took the barrel and kicked it high into the air. So it wasn't Clump himself this time. So this novelization, not canon. It's trash. I'm throwing it out. I need Clump to be the one who, like, flattens Diddy Kong by just, like, falling forward on top of him. Have a nice trip, little monkey! Ha ha ha! He laughed. The barrel soared far across the jungle, landing with a thud in a patch of dense vegetation. Inside the barrel, Diddy Kong was knocked out. Quickly, shouted Clump. We have wasted too much time here already. That mini-monkey... Again, I forgot about the mini-monkey reference. was more trouble than I expected. We must take the bananas and be gone. Alright, so we found Mini-Monkey. We just need to find the bow, and, you know, we'll be good for Tiny Phase. 2 Kremlings lifted a huge tree trunk and ran toward the banana storehouse. Using the tree as a battering ram, they crashed through the storehouse's door, smashing it to bits. As Clump stepped inside the storehouse, his scaly mouth began to water. Before him stood piles and piles of fresh, ripe bananas. Well, hey, you know... K-Rool's still into that at this point, I guess. He was into the bananas being fresh at this point in time. Hurry, shouted Clump. Load the carts! The Kremlings took everything in the storehouse and piled it all onto their Kremling carts. Should start with a K, just saying. Then they hurried out of the jungle, taking with them the Kong's precious stash of bananas. You know, if I was editing this book, I would be like, you need to... Kremling carts need to start with a K, like, obviously. You know... I think the Kremling carts were brought up before in this story. Yeah, see, it's spelled with a K here. I don't know, you're not going to be able to see that, but it says Kremling carts in the manual, and it is spelled with a K. Dan Austin was on top of his shit. Alright, chapter Ultram 1-2. This is true. They're fresh and ripe now, which is the perfect time to get them, because you know they'll be rotten by the time they actually, like, get them all the way to the... Those bananas spoil fast. Alright. I think it is, maybe time to go to the jungle music. The rain has stopped. Donkey Kong has no idea what went on in the middle of the night when he was sleeping soundly. By the next morning, the storm had let up. Donkey Kong awakens. This song is already, like, so much louder than the other one, though. Hold on. There you go. Donkey Kong awakened to the gentle sounds of the jungle morning. Birds calling, hippos splashing, and monkeys of all types chattering as they swung from vine to vine. Hippos, that's an interesting call out there. We wouldn't get an actual hippo in the series until Returns, I think? Well, okay, until Scoff. Okay, Scoff was there. He was, like, splashing around in a pool not far from where Donkey Kong was sleeping. He was splashing around in, like, the mud puddles left by the storm. Donkey Kong yawned and stretched. "I'd better go see Diddy," he said to himself as he slipped out of bed. "I'm sure the little guy did just fine." Donkey Kong climbed down from his treehouse and made his way along the damp jungle floor. When he reached the banana storehouse, he stopped short. He stood before the smashed door in shock. Rushing in, he discovered that the Kong's entire food supply was gone. There was no sign of Diddy Kong. You know, they really shouldn't put their entire food supply in, like, one place. They should probably, like, diversify a bit. Also, maybe have something besides bananas, you know? It's never good to just eat, like, one thing, no matter how much you like it. Well, okay, Bonanza doesn't spell core with a K because it is still, like, despite the fact that the Kremlings are occupying it at the time, it is still, like, it's not theirs. And I think it's to show that dichotomy of, like, they don't really belong there, and it's sort of this holy place that's been taken over by them because they've been trapped down there. But, like, there was a crocodile core in Crocodile Isle, which was truly theirs and did truly belong to them, but, like, the actual core of the planet, like, no one can lay claim to that, truly. Donkey Kong... Okay, there we go. I read this whole page. Yo, it's Cranky, there he is! It's time for the Cranky voice. "Diddy!" shouted Donkey Kong. "Diddy, where are you? What happened?" His voice echoed through the jungle. Donkey Kong was frantic. The Kremlings must have staged a banana raid last night, thought Donkey Kong, pacing back and forth. Why didn't I take the watch last night? If anything's happened to Diddy, I'll never forgive myself. I've gotta find him, he said aloud. "Find whom?" came a rough voice from behind Donkey Kong. "What in the name of monkey business is going on here?" It was Cranky Kong, Donkey Kong's granddad. "Holy monkey madness, will you just look at that," said Cranky. "Looks like the Kremlins made off with all our bananas." Oh yeah, I forgot how much DK calls Cranky Pops in this. "Hi, Pops," said Donkey Kong. "Don't you hi Pops me," Cranky snapped. "Can't you ever do anything right? It's your responsibility to guard our bananas. That's the trouble with the younger generation today. No sense of responsibility. Why, in my day, we would..." Well, okay, in the manual, he is pretty concerned for Diddy in the manual. He says, hold on. We're comparing the story to the official story, which, you know, is only the first couple chapters of this book. But DK says, "Diddy, gone, my little buddy." And then he actually gets pretty vengeful. He says, "The Kremlings will pay. I'll hunt them down through every corner of my island until I have every last banana from my horde back." Now, he does talk more about the bananas than Diddy there, but it's also implied that he's also still talking about Diddy. And then he says, "Diddy's obsession with being like me has gone too far. He may be a long way from being a true video game hero, but he had the guts, the reflexes, the heart." He's, you know, I'd say he shows concern for Diddy in both of these. Yeah, so the official line here is that Cranky is his grandpa. "Pops," interrupted Donkey Kong, "we don't have time for this now." Don't tell me what we have time for, whippersnapper, replied Cranky. Why, when you were just a boy... Pops, listen, Donkey Kong tried again. Diddy was on guard last night. Now he's gone. The Kremlings must have taken him along with our bananas. I've got to save him. Now wait just a vine-swinging minute, said Cranky Kong. If you think I'm going to let you rush off on some dangerous adventure all along, you've got another thing coming. You probably just botched the whole mission anyway. You need my experience if you're going to rescue Diddy and get our bananas back. Did I ever tell you about the time I single-handedly saved 14 gorillas from the... Pops! Donkey Kong cried impatiently. All right, Cranky said. That's the trouble with youth. They're always in a hurry. Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong set off together on their mission to rescue Diddy and the stolen bananas. Donkey Kong brought a backpack filled with all... There it is! Donkey Kong brought a backpack filled with all types of special miniature barrels. These barrels had special properties that would be useful against any enemies. I want to be prepared when we battle the Kremlings, he explained. DK just goes up to his treehouse, gets his famous backpack, puts that on, filled with his tiny little barrels. Honestly, they need to make a new Donkey Kong game where you have a backpack. Like, he's already worn pants, so now he can wear a backpack and, you know, just fill it with, like, tiny little barrels that have many different purposes. Maybe they're magic barrels that, like, grow to full size when you take them out. Yeah, maybe, you know... instead of Kazooie, Pauline can be in the backpack, and she can, like, pop out and throw the barrels. It'll be like a double dash situation, like DK's controlling where he moves, but then Pauline can pop out and throw the barrels for him, because they're little barrels, so... That's the first smart thing you said all day, Cranky snorted. Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong headed deep into the jungle. They followed the trail that had been left by the heavy wheels of the Kremling carts as they rolled away with the Kong's bananas. Suddenly, a barrel came rolling along from behind them. It struck both Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong in the backs of their legs, knocking them both off their feet. Whoa! Donkey Kong shouted as he hit the ground. What in the name of monkey business is the big idea? Yelled Cranky, landing with a groan. Two Kremlings stepped out from behind a large tree, laughing. Yo, it's the stealth Kremlings again. The ones from the manual, the hidden ones. They will come up again later in the stream. That's two dopey Kongs with one barrel, smirked one of the Kremlings. I like that they're, like, trying to beat the Kongs at their own game. You know, I don't think Manky Kong is in this book. I don't remember Manky Kong being in this book. He might be. But I guess they had to get that in there if he's not. They're trying out, you know, some of the barrel rolling on their own. They're like, hey, this could be fun. As one of the Kremlings sprang on top of Donkey Kong. As Donkey Kong and the Kremling wrestled on the jungle floor, ooh, baby, Cranky heard a tiny voice coming from the barrel. Then the other Kremling grabbed Cranky by the arms. So now we're reading this book, we get another Kremling illustration. We're like, where's the tits on this guy? He lost his nipples. What happened to his nipples? He's a lot thinner. And, you know, he doesn't really have a tail. They forgot to draw his tail. Clump had a tail, right? Yeah, he's got a tail. This guy, no tail, no nipples. Like, being a critter, like, it's misery. You don't got a tail, apparently. You don't got nips. It's just sad. Get your scaly hands off me, Cranky Kong shouted, but the Kremling just held him tightly and laughed. Suddenly, a huge four-legged beast came crashing through the dense jungle. Posh Rambi! Exclaimed Donkey Kong, spotting his pal Rambi the Rhino as he pried the Kremling's fingers from his face. Rambi was an immense rhinoceros with a giant head and an enormous horn. That's the most important thing about Rambi. He's got a big old head. Rambi loved nothing more than smashing into Kremlings while running at top speed. Rambi charged right at the Kremling on top of Donkey Kong. He bashed the Kremling, sending him flying across the jungle. At that, the Kremling who had grabbed Cranky released the older monkey and began to run. Rambi charged and caught up with him a few seconds later, bashing him into the air and across the jungle too. Thanks, Rambi, Donkey Kong said, getting to his feet and brushing himself off. This is where it caught me off guard the first time I read this, because I didn't know Rambi was going to talk, but here we are. If there's anything I can't stand, it's Kremlings, said Rambi. They're all over the jungle. Those two are the 8th and 9th Kremlings I've bashed today. They gave us quite a surprise, Donkey Kong told him. Well, here's another surprise for you, said Cranky. Right next to Cranky stood Diddy Kong. Tailless and scaleless. Yeah, Rambi carved his nipples right off with his horn. Alright. Diddy! Exclaimed Donkey Kong, rushing over to his friend. How did you get here? You alright? I'm fine, Diddy Kong answered. I found him right in this barrel that the Kremlings rolled at us, explained Cranky. I'm sorry I let you down, Donkey, said Diddy, lowering his eyes. I fought hard to save our bananas from the Kremlings, but there were just too many of them. You did your best, kid, said Donkey Kong. After all, not everyone can be me. Alright, fucking DK. Calm your tits. True, Rambi can count. Thank the maker of monkeys for that, Cranky Kong exclaimed. Now, are we going to stand around all day feeling sorry for ourselves? Or are we going to get our bananas back? Cranky turned and continued into the jungle. The others followed. We'll get our bananas back, you'll see, Diddy said as they picked up the trail left by the Kremling carts. Next time I meet those Kremlings, I'll hit them with a double-speed cartwheel. That'll knock them off their feet. Yeah, if you chain your rolls into them, you go faster and faster. I'm afraid getting your bananas back won't solve all the problems on the island, said Rambi, who now accompanied them on their journey through the jungle. You must be talking about the Kremling factory, said Donkey Kong. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it. Exactly, Rambi replied. That horrible place is polluting all our air and soil. Soon no one will be able to grow any food or even breathe on this island. Something's got to be done about that factory. Cranky Kong spoke up. In my day, we didn't go around whining about our problems. We took action. I've got some mini TNT barrels with me, said Donkey Kong. I say we go blow up that factory and get our bananas back. I love this. Final Fantasy... This is just Final Fantasy VII. I feel like Rambi's like Barrett. He's like the big guy with the heart of gold who really wants this factory to get blown up. And DK's like Cloud, I guess. It won't be easy, said Rambi. The factory is run by King K. Rool, the supreme leader of all the Kremlings. He's the biggest and meanest Kremling that ever lived. Well, he's not the biggest one that ever lived, but I guess we don't know that yet. Even the other Kremlings fear him. They're afeared! They're afeared! See, we're having so many revelations now that we're revisiting this after having played Bonanza. Look, Andre, I just feel like Rambi should have, like, a serious, deep voice, and I can only make my voice so deep and serious, you know? This came out before DKC2 was released, I think. It's 1995, so presuming it came out in, like, anytime before November, yes. I mean, it had to have been written before then, so yes, they were able to get the dynamic of K. Rool just from guesswork. That he was ruling mostly out of, you know, fear and intimidation instead of most people being, like, truly, like, loyal to him, I guess. Sounds like it's him or us, Donkey, said Diddy. Otherwise, the island will get too polluted to live here anymore. I say we go for it. I'm with the youngster, Cranky said. Let's give those Krimbums... Why everyone wants to call him Krimbums? Krimbums, a good old-fashioned monkey barrel full of trouble. Everyone's obsessed with the Kremling's bums. Yeah, Diddy had no GF yet. It'll be a long and dangerous journey, said Rambi. We'll have to slip past the treetop village. It's been taken over by Kremlings, and they're ready to ambush anyone who goes past. I'll stay with you until we reach the edge of the jungle and help you get by there. Is this Cranky? Who is talking? Is this still Rambi? I guess it's still Rambi. Whoa. Then you'll have to make it over the snowy mountains in order to reach the Kremling's factory. We'll be running into enemies at every turn, and not just Kremlings. As I'm sure you know, there's plenty of other nasty creatures on the island. But if you're lucky, you may meet a friend or two along the way. Diddy felt frightened. The thought of battling more Kremlings and who knew what else made him wish he was back in his own comfortable treehouse. He looked up at Donkey Kong, who smiled, and patted Diddy on the head. You okay, little buddy? Donkey Kong asked. Are you ready for this adventure? I'm ready for anything you are, replied Diddy. Then he thought, I can't let Donkey Kong know I'm scared. I've got to be as brave as he is. The group moved on through the jungle. They soon reached the abandoned treetop village, with its wooden platforms and huts built high in a great tree. It had once been an active jungle community, but when the Kremlings began their assault on Donkey Kong Island, the original inhabitants had left, leaving Treetop Village deserted and dangerous. We've got to be quiet, whispered Rambi. Move quickly and silently, and maybe we can slip past. Oh wait, we gotta do a music change. There we go. Actually, it's about time for our first break. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, we will, jump into the treetop town. But I just wanted to point out that the description of the treetop town being originally, like, a thriving community and abandoned, I think comes straight from the manual, which says... yeah, in the lofty treetops of Donkey Kong Country, you'll find a deserted town of wooden platforms and huts, origin unknown. But while the original inhabitants may be gone, the place is teeming with Kremlings and their friends, ready to ambush anyone who trespasses here. Yeah, so... You know, I never really, like, understood that as a kid. I thought that, like, the people who lived in the town were still living there, because, like, you see the lights on and everything in the background on the huts, but I guess the original inhabitants have moved out, and it's just been... The Kremlings are just having parties there now. But yeah, I will be back in a few minutes. Okay. Back to story time. Alright, we started this page, I think. We've got to be quiet, whispered Rambi. Move quickly and silently, and maybe we can slip past. Rambi ASMR. Treetop Village was also filthy. Its platforms and huts were now cracked and damaged. Garbage was thrown all around the jungle floor. The Kremling simply tossed it down from the platforms above. One by one, Rambi, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and Cranky Kong tiptoed single file right under the village. Cranky lagged behind, moving slowly. He was moaning and complaining as he went. Well, you just look at this mess, he said as he stepped through the garbage, trying to keep his voice down, but not doing a good job of it. These Kremlings are pigs. You know, I thought they were crocodiles. I'm really confused on what they are now. Maybe some of them are pigs. You know, in the next game, in the next book, we'll find that out. Keep your voice down and hurry up, Pops, Donkey Kong whispered. Don't tell me to hurry up, whippersnapper, yelled Cranky. I was walking these jungles before you were even... Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Rambi turned toward Cranky. Shh! They all said at once. But it was too late. I'm just imagining Rambi's, like, his rhino paw, like, morphing into one of those, like, hyper-realistic Among Us hands, and he's like, shh! But it was too late. On the high platforms above, the Kremlings had heard Cranky shout. An alarm sounded, and Kremlings scrambled across the platforms, screaming at each other and loading their barrel cannons. Donkey Kong heard several loud booms from above. The Kremlings are firing their barrel cannons, shouted Rambi. Oh, that was Rambi. The Kremlings are firing their barrel cannons. Donkey Kong looked up and saw a barrel hurtling right at them. Oh, there they are. I like that this person didn't feel like drawing cannons, so they just made sure to draw the, like, explosions coming from the cannons and all. You know what? I feel that. Donkey Kong moved swiftly. He grabbed Cranky, pulling him out of the way. The barrel hit the ground, just missing the two Kongs. The Kremlings continued firing their cannons at Rambi and the Kongs from the treetop platforms. Barrels rained down around them. Cranky ran for cover in the thick jungle growth. Rambi butted away any barrels that came near him with his big head. Big ol' head. Donkey Kong and Diddy used their best moves to avoid getting hit by the high-speed barrels. Donkey Kong ran, grabbed a vine, and swung out of the way of a swiftly moving barrel. Diddy jumped high into the air, then cartwheeled away from a barrel that narrowly missed him. I have an idea, shouted Rambi. Stand back! The powerful rhino charged at the tree from which the Kremlings were firing their cannons. Rambi rammed into the base of the tree at top speed. The huge tree shook from bottom to top. Kremlings came flying out of Treetop Village, crashing to the jungle floor. I'm just imagining the noises. Like, it was just like critters, so they weren't actually doing the, like, yet. But imagine they were. And just imagine, like, just like a huge... Like, so many onks at once that it, like, shakes the entire forest. Let's give them a little taste of their own medicine, said Donkey Kong. I'm right with you, Donkey, Diddy Kong replied. The two Kongs picked up the barrels that had been fired at them and furiously flung them back at the startled Kremlings. Here, catch, Donkey Kong shouted as he threw a barrel with all his strength. The barrel knocked over 3 Kremlings at once. Nice shot, said Diddy. He lifted a barrel to his chest and heaved it, flattening a Kremling who just got to his feet. This guy's just completely, like, two-dimensional now. Like, I hope Ramby's not self-conscious about the size of his head. Because, like, he's reading this book, and it's like the Lanky Kong reacts to the DK Rap video. Like, Ramby thinks this is gonna be a great book that's all about how cool he is, and then he reads it. He's just sitting there, like, with his pipe, like, reading this in his armchair, and it just, like, keeps talking about how big his head is, and Ramby's just like, okay, man, alright, what's up with that? Hey, Traveler, we're talking about Ramby's big ol' head. The remaining Kremlings fled from Treetop Village in fear, now that they were unable to do battle from the safety of their perches. Cowards! Shouted Cranky, waving his walking stick at the retreating Kremlings. Look at him run! Come back, you yellow-bellied lizards. I'll fight you one at a time. Alright, this is the first mention, I believe, of them actually being reptiles of any kind, instead of just not referring to what they are whatsoever. If you didn't have the illustrations, you would just still have no fucking idea what they actually were supposed to be. Calm down, Pop, said Donkey Kong. Don't tell me to calm down, snapped back Cranky. I know how to deal with cowards. When I was your age, I once fought 5 crocodiles single-handedly. Yo, okay, now all at once, okay, on page 28, they were like, we need to tell them what Kremlings are, so now they're getting a little more into it. I remember it was a day something like this. I had... Pops, Donkey Kong interrupted, rolling his eyes. It's time to get going. The group moved on and soon came to the edge of the jungle. Ahead of them stood a chain of tall, snow-capped mountains. This is as far as I go, Ramby said. You'll have to make it over those mountains in order to get to the Kremling's factory. Be careful, and good luck. Thanks for all your help, Ramby, said Donkey Kong. Ramby turned and galloped back into the jungle. The 3 Kongs were once again on their own. Alright, gotta have some snowy mountain music here. Thank you, Traveler. Have you not seen my yellow-orange glasses yet? I've had them for a bit. For a couple months now, I think. I actually got 2 glasses at once, and the other this, like... I have them here on my desk with me, but I never wear them. I should swap out more often, but I'm just, like, too attached to these. I like them better. Well, you know, sorry to Ramby lovers, but we do have many more. I don't think Winky's in this book. They got them all except for Winky, unfortunately. Winky lovers destroyed. This guy, like, played the entire game and he didn't get Winky once. He didn't find Winky at all. He got to Winky's walkway and he was like, why was it called that? Alright. I don't have red glasses. Maybe it's just the coloring looks different today? I don't know. These are the glasses I've been wearing for the past couple months. But I almost bought some red glasses last time I went to the, get new ones, but I didn't end up getting them. Alright, the Kongs left the jungle and began their climb up the mountains. The higher they climbed, the colder it got. The ground grew slick with ice and snow. The traveling became more difficult and Cranky complained more and more. Blasted baboon bottom. Has Cranky done anything useful? Or has he just had to be, like, pushed out of the way by Donkey Kong and, like, complain about stuff causing the Kremlings to notice them? Has Cranky done anything useful on this trip? Well, I guess he did find Diddy Kong, but that barrel would have broken open anyway, so... I think Cranky... Has he done anything besides make things more complicated? Maybe the color on your monitor is off and made the glasses look more red, and I don't know. Blasted baboon bottoms, whined Cranky Kong. This is a fine thing for an old monkey to be doing, slipping and sliding up the side of a treacherous mountain. Slip, slide, ride? This is about as bad as it can get. Without warning, a terrible blizzard struck. Driving wind and blinding snow whipped the Kongs as they struggled to continue their climb. So I was wrong, Cranky yelled. It got worse. What are we going to do? Asked Diddy, no longer able to hide the fear in his voice. I don't know, replied Donkey Kong. I can't see 2 inches in front of my face. Yo, look at this epic picture. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out from above. Donkey Kong! It was Espresso's friend. I mean, it was Donkey Kong's friend, Espresso the ostrich. My favorite animal buddy, at least from this game. I think my favorite overall is probably Radley. It's hard to say. I love On Guard a lot, too. I don't know, it's tough. It's hard to pick a favorite. I love Espresso, though. I love ostriches. Espresso! Donkey Kong yelled, trying to be heard over the wind. What are you doing up here? I was camping in the mountains, replied Espresso. This is something I remember very well, was camping Espresso. I just imagine him, like, with his little, like, roasting a marshmallow, you know? You guys look like you could use a hand. Actually, a foot. Well, really 2 feet. Wearing my sure-grip sneakers. Hang on, I'll drop down a rope. Espresso lowered a long rope down the side of the mountain. Donkey Kong, Cranky, and Diddy all grabbed the rope, holding on for dear life. Hang on, shouted Espresso. Here we go! Espresso's sure-grip sneakers gave him the traction the barefooted monkeys just didn't have. The ostrich's powerful legs helped him pull the 3 Kongs up the mountain until they reached the ledge on which Espresso was standing. In front of them, in the side of the mountain, was the entrance to an ice cave. I don't think there's actually an there he is. Never mind. I didn't even, this picture's so busy, I, like, didn't even see he was there at first. Yeah, Cranky did a lot of cool stuff off-screen in his youth, apparently, but when it comes to how helpful he is on this actual adventure today, I don't know about it. Why does Cranky look like Wrinkly? Well, you know, sometimes people end up being attracted to people who are like them, I guess. Well, okay, Espresso just, like, lowered it down with his wings, I don't know. Or his mouth, like he had it in his mouth and he was, like, gripping it in his mouth. Yeah, I really like this Neki in particular, this one right here. Let's duck into this cave, said Espresso when everyone is safely on the ledge. It'll get us out of the storm. As they settled down for a rest, the Kongs thanked Espresso for saving them. What are you jungle folks doing up here in the mountains, asked Espresso. Donkey Kong explained about their mission to destroy the Kremling's factory and recover their stolen bananas. Did you hear something? Asked Diddy Kong a few minutes later. Yes, said Espresso. It sounded like wings flapping, and I know it wasn't my wings. The flapping noise came again. Suddenly Neki and Mini Neki, 2 evil vultures who lived in the ice caves, appeared. They began to take coconuts from their own backpack. I forgot about that. They don't just cough up the nuts, they got their own backpack. Everybody's got a fucking backpack in this. This book was sponsored by Big Backpack. They really wanted the kids to, you know, to use their backpacks for more than just school, you know? Backpacks aren't just for taking your school books. You can put nuts in them, you can put exploding TNT barrels. Everyone should be wearing backpacks at all times, because you never know what you might need. Does the Nekis with backpacks, do they have bears in their backpack, like the reverse Banjo-Kazooie situation? They got like a tiny little brother's bear in there. Alright, well we're in the ice cave now, so... True, everybody's going to Kong College. Anyway, they began to take coconuts from their backpacks and throw them at Espresso and the Kongs. I love that they're just, like, flying around, but they're also just, like, whipping some nuts out of their backpack at the same time. If you had not actually played the game, and you were only reading this book, you would not have a clear idea on what Kremlings actually were until, like, a third of the way through the book. And you would also think this was a very, like, backpack-themed game. Like, this game is, like, backpack-centric. Really, I think Diddy and Cranky should have also brought their own backpacks. I think they're a little bit foolish for not doing so. Ooh, ouch! Cranky cried as coconuts bonked him on the head. Get out of our cave! Squawked Neki as he flung another coconut at Donkey Kong. No jungle dwellers are allowed in here! Donkey Kong reacted quickly. Dodging the flying coconut, he opened his backpack and pulled out 2 of the miniature barrel cannons that he had packed at the beginning of the trip. How many things is he fitting in there? Here you go, Diddy, he called, tossing one of the cannons to his little pal. It's time to play catch with these overgrown turkeys. Mini Neki flung a coconut at Donkey Kong, who caught it in his barrel cannon. That's skill right there. He like catches the nut in the cannon and just gonna shoot it right back out at them. Donkey Kong fired the cannon, shooting the coconut right back at the vulture. Ah! Hold on. Ah! There we go. That's my best necky. Ah! Squealed the bird when the coconut struck him in the wing. I get the idea, said Diddy. He too began catching coconuts in his miniature barrel cannon and firing them back at the vultures. Let's go, squawked Necky, who was not used to having his coconuts fired back in his direction. He and Mini Necky flew out of the cave. Well, we took care of those guys, said Diddy Kong. We sure did, said Donkey Kong, smiling. You two can stop congratulating yourselves for a second, said Cranky. Maybe you can tell me how we're going to get over these mountains to the Kremling's factory. Before they could answer, Espresso said, Actually, you don't have to go over the mountains. You can go through them by using these caves in the old abandoned mines. Espresso pointed the monkeys in the right direction. Thanks for the rescue, Espresso, said Donkey Kong. The ostrich nodded and then left the cave, heading back to his campsite. He's gonna go back out camping in the blizzard instead of staying in this cave. He's a brave ostrich. His shoes really get him through anything, I guess. Alright, I think we gotta go into some, like, different cave music here. Turn this one up, it's a little quieter. Plus my heater is on. The Kongs proceeded deeper into the cave, walking along narrow, twisting passageways. They soon came to a steep, slippery slope. The three monkeys stood at the edge of the slope, peering down into the darkness below. How in the vine-swinging jungle are we gonna get down there? Cranky Kong asked. Not that I even want to go down there in the first place. I was gonna say jungle dwellers, just like calling them jungle dwellers. But Espresso also called them like jungle people or something, and it's like, I don't know, that seems like, that's a choice of words. We have no choice, explained Donkey Kong. We can't turn back, and this is the only way to go forward. Hey Donkey, Diddy called, look what I found. Next to a wall at the top of the slope stood a stack of old tires. Bet we could ride down on these, said Diddy Kong. I think you've got something there, Donkey Kong responded. I'll tell you what you got, cried Cranky. You've got an idea that's about as bright as a burnt-out bulb. Come on, Pop, said Donkey Kong. It won't be so bad. Grab a tire, hop on, and hold tight. Yeah, I forgot that they, like, sled down on the tires instead of just bouncing on them or whatever. The Kongs each took a tire from the pile. They sat on the tires at the top of the slope. Here we go, shouted Donkey Kong as he launched himself over the edge. Last one down is a Kremling, yelled Diddy as he started sliding down the slope. Okay, sign me up. I'll be the last one down. I'll just hang back for a bit. Blasted baboon bottoms, Cranky Kong cried as he pushed himself off. I'm too old for this. The Kongs flew down the slope on their tires at high speed. This is cool, said Diddy as the air rushed past his face. Yeah, if I was reading this book, I'd be like, wow, I can't wait to get to the, like, slalom part of this game where you, like, slide down a big slope on a tire sled. At the bottom of the slope, the Kongs came skidding to a halt right in front of the entrance to the abandoned mines Espresso had told them to look for. What new horror do we have to go through now? Cranky moaned as he shakily got off his tire. The old mine tunnels were dark and damp. I will switch to the mine music now, alright. Donkey Kong led the way, feeling along the walls to guide himself. Diddy, you hold my hand, said Donkey Kong. Pops, you hang on to Diddy's tail so we stay together. Great, grumbled Cranky, walking through the dark on slippery rocks holding a little monkey's tail. Sounds like fun to me. Cranky, shut up, man. We didn't want you to come on this adventure. You insisted. He was like, I gotta come, and then all he did was complain the whole time. As the Kongs made their way through the old mine tunnels, Donkey Kong spotted a light up ahead. What's that? Asked Diddy. I'm not sure, replied Donkey Kong as the light came toward them. Yeah, the blinding light. Squawk! Came a sound from the direction of the light. A few seconds later, a bright green parrot appeared, carrying a high-powered flashlight. Yeah, not the one he has in DK64. You folks look like you could use a little light, said the parrot. I'm Squawks the parrot. I live in the darkest level of this old mine. Yo, canonical, like, he wasn't a pre-existing friend like Espresso and Rambi were. This is their first time meeting Squawks. This is the Squawks origins. Donkey Kong introduced his group and described their mission. You're in luck, said Squawks. I know a shortcut through the mines that'll lead you right to the Kremling factory. Follow me. Squawks led the way with his trusty flashlight, and the Kongs followed close behind. As they came around a sharp bend, Squawks' light revealed Slip of the Snake and Army the Armadillo, two of Donkey Kong's cave-dwelling enemies. I remember this part for sure. Just like the one slippa in the one army that you know, these guys, there's just like one of each, and DK really hates them. These mines are ours, hissed Slippa. Then he slithered forward to attack Diddy. Yeah, Squawks is a toad. I told you I've only got so many voices. It's basically like the cranky voice, but just a little more youthful. Diddy Kong reacted quickly, jumping into the air and landing on Slippa with his famous double jump. I forgot that Diddy has a double jump. Okay. This is a Metroidvania now. The evil snake scurried back into the darkness. Well, that was easy. Slippa was in this book for like 3 paragraphs. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong pulled a barrel from the collection of special barrels in his backpack and heaved it at Army. You know what? I gotta say, when I was reading this book in April, I did not expect to ever see Army again, but we did. So, hey-yo. No Slippa yet, though. Lots of snakes in Bonanza, but no Slippa. The evil armadillo curled up into a ball to protect himself from the attack, but the force of the barrel knocked him far down the tunnel. Come on, said Squawks. The shortcut's not far from here. The group soon came to a set of tracks. On the tracks sat an old mining cart. The back entrance to the Kremling's factory is at the end of these tracks, Squawks explained. Years ago, before the Kremlings took over the factory. Okay, so the factory was not built by the Kremlings in this. I guess, it kind of fits with what we'll learn in the Donkey Kong Land novelization, where Kong society was very, like, industrialized and civilized, and, like, they lived in a big city, but then they decided to go back to nature at some point. So I guess, according to the lore of these books, the Kremlings basically didn't make anything on Donkey Kong Island, more or less. They just kind of came over and took over. Like, the Kongs decided, we're not about this anymore. We're not about the factories or the cities or whatever. We're gonna go back and live in the jungle and whatever. The Kremlings were like, hey, you're not using that. We'll take them. Yeah, Diddy, his shirt line isn't fully drawn here, so he looks like his shirt flew right off. He's naked. Somehow he didn't lose his hat, but he did lose his shirt. Alright, we gotta put the minecart music on. Years ago, before the Kremlings took over the factory, the miners used to load their ore into the mining carts and then roll them right into the factory for processing. I think all 3 of you should fit into the cart. It may be a rough ride, but it'll lead you right to the back door of the factory. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong climbed into the rickety old mining cart. Cranky stood next to it with his arms folded in disgust. You don't actually expect me to get into that thing, do you? You don't actually expect me to get into that thing, do you? He asked. I've had more than enough wild rides for one day. Come on, Pop, said Donkey Kong. We've come this far. I'm gonna regret this, groaned Cranky as he climbed in next to the others. Thanks for all your help, Squawk, said Donkey Kong. Yeah, grumbled Cranky Kong. Thanks for helping get us killed. Good luck at the factory, replied Squawks. Then he flew off. Donkey Kong released the brake and the cart rolled forward. Whoa! The Kong shouted as the old cart sped up and bounced along the rickety old tracks. They plunged down steep drops and swung around sharp bends as if they were on a roller coaster that was out of control. And if you want this experience in real life, check out Donkey Kong Land at Nintendo World and Universal Studios. Wow, they really were selling you on that long before it even happened. Well, the manual does state that the Kremlings made the factories because they're their crowning industrial achievement, so this guy was using a little bit of creative license. He paid attention to the manual enough to know that the treetop town was abandoned, but used a little creative, you know, rewriting when it came to the factories. It says, the Kremlings' crowning industrial achievements are the huge factories they built in Donkey Kong Country, so there you go. And, you know, we always go with the game canon first, so. If we ever get home, Cranky cried, remind me never to get out of bed again. Soon the cart left the mine and came crashing to a halt. The 3 Kongs were thrown from the cart by the sudden stop and went tumbling over each other. They landed in a heap right at the back door to the Kremling's factory. Alright, well that minecart section was very short. It was thrilling and exciting and whoa, it was wild. It was also, we are not going to really describe it, it just happened. Is everyone alright? Asked Donkey Kong. Never been better, moaned Cranky. Of course, I may never walk again, but... I'm okay, said Diddy, and I'm ready to get those Kremlings! Oh, we're almost at the part where, spoiler alert, DK is gonna blow up the factory with a zinger and a claptrap inside and probably bury them under the fallen, you know, debris. Donkey Kong examined the back door of the factory. It had not been used in so many years that the locks and hinges were rusted and broken. He gripped the door with his powerful hands and yanked with all his might. The old door came right off its hinges. Let's go, he whispered. They slipped inside. The Kremling factory was a dark, foul-smelling place. The sound of machinery filled the air, and the smell of fumes made the three monkeys cough. This is the chunk they're putting into our air, said Donkey Kong. Okay, here's the plan. I brought enough TNT barrels to bring this whole place down. Diddy, you take some. Pops, you take a few more. We'll sneak around the factory, planting the TNT barrels every few feet. Then we'll meet back here. He brought so many TNT barrels that he can put them every few feet around this entire, like, big-ass factory. Like, how many barrels could he fit in this backpack of his? Like, the illustrations didn't really capture it, but the backpack was, like, huge. Like, he's been, like, some kind of giant, like, snail situation. He's been wearing this, like, 50-foot circumference backpack this entire time. This is true. Everyone gets distracted by the nips. It's okay, I understand. Everyone agreed. Even Cranky went along without a fuss. The three Kongs were soon placing the highly explosive TNT barrels all around the factory. When Donkey Kong was almost finished, he heard two voices coming from behind a large machine. He crouched down in a corner and listened. This is a zinger, right? Yes, okay. Where's King K. Rool? Asked the giant bumblebee with big white eyes. He's supposed to be at the factory today, Claptrap. Well, he's not here, Zinger, replied a small Kremling with a long mouth and huge teeth. He's the boss, so he can do what he likes. Just because this factory is his and he thought of the banana stealing scheme doesn't mean he can ignore us, said Zinger. I just like that this Zinger and this Claptrap are just besties. And, you know, they're just hanging out together. And they're about to die, though. So... He's brought the bananas to his headquarters in the Gangplank Galleon, the Kremling ship, Claptrap said. He's at sea. We can't reach him even if we... Claptrap stopped short and turned in Donkey Kong's direction. There's someone there, he shouted. Donkey Kong stood up to run, but Zinger buzzed him, missing his head by only inches. Claptrap raced right at Donkey Kong. His mouth was wide open, revealing his sharp teeth. From out of nowhere came Diddy Kong, cartwheeling at double speed. He spun right into Claptrap and knocked... You can't cartwheel into a Claptrap! They're setting these future players of Donkey Kong Country up for failure. I mean, okay, I guess if the... Okay, the Claptrap was coming at DK, so I guess Diddy was, like, cartwheeling into his behind, which is possible. He was hitting him in the back, but they really need to make that clear so the kids know about the strategies for playing the game. Now, this book really sets up a false expectation for what the game is like, so the least they can do is, like, not lead them astray in ways that will get them killed by trying to cartwheel in the Claptraps, you know? Yeah, well, I think there's an illustration, at least. There is not I don't know why. I thought there was an illustration of the Claptrap and the Zinger, but maybe I just had such a, like, vivid image in my head of, like, a Zinger and a Claptrap hanging out and talking to each other that I thought there was an illustration, but there's actually not. So yeah, for all you know, a Claptrap looks exactly like Clump, like, tits and all, but just has, like, a giant head, even bigger than Rambi's, and, like, a big old mouth. Also, calling a Zinger a giant bumblebee really kind of undersells the fact that they're much closer to, like, wasps, and so I'm just imagining, like, Beanie, if you know Beanie from the game Beanie. That's what I would imagine from reading this. Donkey Kong turned and slammed Zinger with his powerful hand slap attack, stunning the giant bee. This is like some Bonanza foreshadowing. Thanks for the save, Diddy, said Donkey Kong. I was on my way back to meet you when I heard those guys talking, explained Diddy. I saw them attack, so I came right over. Are all your TNT barrels planted? Donkey Kong asked. Yes, replied Diddy. Are yours? All set, said Donkey Kong. Now we just gotta find Pops. I'm here, said Cranky, walking up beside them. What was all that commotion I heard? I'll explain it later, Donkey Kong answered. Come on, let's get out of here. The Kongs raced for the back door. When they were a safe distance from the factory, Donkey Kong detonated the TNT barrels by remote control. The terrible factory exploded in a huge ball. I forgot. It literally, like, explodes in flame. Like, it didn't just collapse. Like, okay, maybe the claptrap and the zinger could have feasibly made it out because, you know, they escaped as the factory was collapsing. No, it goes up, like, the oil barrels all explode at once, and those guys got incinerated. Like, there is nothing left of them. They're just ashes. Jesus. Hopefully they got out. But the zinger was stunned. So, anyway. Maybe they knocked the claptrap so far that he, like, flew out the window or something. I don't know. Yeah, they actually had an illustration originally in this book of, like, the zinger and the claptrap being incinerated just into ash, like, but they had to cut that because they thought it would be too frightening for children. Well, anyway, DK has now killed at least 2 people. I'm sure that, you know, DK's like, well, it's just a bug, like, who cares? DK is prejudiced against zingers, he does not value their lives. Yeah, it's 7, you know. Okay, I guess we will leave it on the factory music. Well, we're about to have an on guard part, so I'll get ready to change it to the... Well, okay, yes, he did also kill a claptrap, but like we said, maybe the claptrap got knocked so far that he, like, got knocked out. It just... Okay, we know the zinger was stunned, but the claptrap got knocked across the factory floor, so maybe he, like, he could run out of there in time. Like, he was still conscious. Maybe... Okay, here's my happy ending canon. The claptrap was still conscious, just got knocked away, and when he saw that his BFF, Zinger, was knocked out, he, like, grabbed Zinger by his, like, stinger and just, like, pulled him out and escaped before the... He saw what the Kongs were up to, and they both escaped before the factory blew up. So they don't... No one has to die here today. But DK apparently wouldn't have cared if they did. I just love the Zinger Claptrap buddy duo. I want to draw the 2 of them, you know, like Banjo-Kazooie style, except, you know, now they're both dead. We're gonna get, in the next Donkey Kong game, we're gonna get, like, a ghost of a Zinger and a ghost of a Claptrap hanging out together, and we're gonna be like, that's them. It's them from the book Donkey Kong Country by Michael Teitelbaum. Alright. Yippee! Shouted Diddy Kong! We got them! We fucking killed them! We destroyed the Kremling's factory! Don't celebrate yet, Donkey Kong said. He told him about the conversation between Claptrap and Zinger. We've still got to rescue our stolen bananas and find King K. Rool. So what do we do now? Asked Diddy. We head to the ocean and see if we can track down the Gangplank Galleon, replied Donkey Kong. Great monkey madness, cried Cranky. I hate the ocean, alright. Too much darn water if you ask me. Do not tell Cranky Kong about Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Donkey Kong shook his head. The 3 Kongs set out on the long trek to the sea. Boy, why does Cranky Kong live on, like, an island if he fucking hates the ocean so much? He should have stayed in, like, New Donk City or whatever. Alright, so they went to sleep. They took a sleep at their getaway. And then the following morning, Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky stood at the shoreline, gazing out at the wide sea. Crystal blue waves gently rolled in and broke on the soft white sand. Now that we're here, began Cranky Kong, did you stop to think that we don't have a boat? Before Donkey Kong could answer, a large blue swordfish broke the water's surface. His sword-like beak shimmered in the morning sun as he hung in the air for a second, and then splashed back into the waves. I feel like On Guard was this guy's favorite animal buddy, because when On Guard shows up, he's like, he was so cool, like, he just broke the water and his sword-like beak was shimmering. But then when Rambi shows up, he's like, this guy, he's got a big head. Yeah, someone needs to make the official Donkey Kong novelization version of Donkey Kong Country. It's my friend, On Guard the Swordfish, exclaimed Donkey Kong. So DK was previously friends with all the animal buddies except for Squawks, who he just met. Again, On Guard jumped out of the water. Dive in, he called. Don't worry, just dive in. Then he fell back into the sea. I trust On Guard. So do I, DK. I trust On Guard with my goddamn life. Except for in DKC2, but in DKC3, he's a little more, invincible sometimes. I'm sure it's safe. Come on, let's dive in. You know what, this makes a lot more sense than we were talking about in the actual game when they just go into the first water level for absolutely no reason. They just take a dip in there and then get right back out. But they have to actually cross the ocean here to try to get to the Gangplank Galleon. It makes more sense. I mean, Ungard is that cool. And I feel like he would have a French accent, as the player's guide confirmed that he was officially French, but I can't do a French accent, so just imagine it, alright? Oh, there we go. That's Ungard for you. Wee wee. Oh great, Cranky Kong moaned. After all this, now I have to get wet. The Kongs waded out from the shore, then dove underwater. Ungard was waiting, and he gave each Kong a special underwater... I do remember this part. The underwater breathing barrel. No, how come that isn't illustrated? Barrels can really do it all. They can explode factories, they can kill claptraps, they can help you breathe underwater. Donkey Kong, Diddy, and Cranky slipped the special barrels around their necks and found that they could breathe and speak underwater. Donkey Kong hopped on the swordfish's back and began to tell Ungard about their adventures and their mission. I know all about it, said Ungard. Word of your adventures has spread all over the island, even underwater. That's why I've been hanging around the shoreline waiting for you. I figured you'd show up soon to find the Kremling ship. Grab onto my tail, Ungard told Diddy Kong. This part seems so magical. Like, I don't know. You just go to the edge of the water and you're like, how are we ever gonna do this? And then a friendly swordfish jumps out of the water and he's beautiful and he's just like, follow me, and then he gives you some underwater breathing apparatuses and then you just go on a magical underwater adventure with your friend Ungard. This is the best. I wish this would happen to me. Yeah, like, what would you call it, though? Like, a nose? What is the technical name for a swordfish's, like, elongated snout? I'm sure there's an official biological name for it. A rostrum? Okay. They should have just called it a rostrum. Introduce kids to a new word. You know, expand their vocabulary a little bit. Video games taught me a lot of, and I guess video game books, if I had read any as a kid, would have introduced me to a lot of new vocabulary. I think the only video game books I had as a kid were, like, I had a couple Pokemon ones that were, like, novelizations of episodes of the anime. Anyway. Grab onto my tail, Ungard told Diddy Kong. And you grab his tail, he continued to Cranky. Everyone just wants Cranky to grab onto Diddy's tail. I'll pull you along as we go. I know where you can find that ship. Diddy Kong grabbed Ungard's tail. Then Cranky took hold of Diddy's tail. Ungard swam powerfully through the ocean, pulling his friends along. Suddenly, they were attacked by a gang of underwater enemies. Chomps the shark swam right at Diddy Kong. Ungard rammed into the deadly shark with his powerful sword beak. Take that, you overgrown guppy, shouted Ungard as Chomps went spinning out of control. Squidge! Squidge alert! Is Bite Size here? Or does Bite Size get shafted again? I don't think we have... No Bite Size alert. Sorry, Skips. Hey, what's up? Sorry. What's up? Oh yeah, sorry. I had to talk to Victor for a second. Yeah, French people have pronounced eyebrows. I do like his eyebrows, though. It reminds me a lot of, like, some of the early renders of Jinjos where they just inexplicably had floating eyebrows like that. Especially because he kind of basically has the same face shape. Just pointy face. Squidge the jellyfish tried to sting Donkey Kong, who used a double hand slap attack on either side of Squidge's head to stun the jellyfish. I like this, implied underwater attacking you can do. That ringing in your head is not a phone call, teased Donkey Kong. Alright. Does Squidge even know what a phone is? Like, he lives underwater. This is not an excuse for Victor to call me right now. Clambo the Clam spat pearls at Cranky Kong, but the old monkey remained unrattled. He used his walking stick like a baseball bat, hitting the pearls back at Clambo. Some, Super Sluggers foreshadowing. I don't think Cranky's playable in that, though. You got, DK and Diddy and Dixie and Tiny and Funky and K. Rool and a bunch of critters, but I don't think Cranky is playable. Although he should be in it and he just uses a walking stick like a baseball bat like this, but I don't think I don't remember him being playable in that game. Has there ever been a phone in a Donkey Kong game? I feel like there has to be. Like, is there a phone? Like, is there a phone in Bonanza? In the show, probably. Alright, someone think of an instance of a phone existing in a Donkey Kong game. Well, yeah, okay, Void Kong has his device that we were calling a phone the whole time, but it's even not technically a phone, it's a remote, but we can count it. Yeah, alright. The phone, the Bonanza phone. Yeah, there are the walkie-talkies, or the squawky-talkies, if we want to call them that. Alright. Bonanza is the closest. I feel like there has to be, like, a phone somewhere in like, DK64 or something, but I'm not thinking of any. Anyway, you can keep thinking about that. I gotta get back to the story. Batter up, yelled Cranky. I wasn't the all-star hitter for the Kong Cardinals for nothing, you know. Wait, I forgot that. Why the fuck is that? Is that their baseball team's name? Are Cardinals like the bird or like the religious figure? Like Cardinal K. Rool, like we were talking about. Being one of his new persona ideas. Clambo swam away, stinging from the pearls Cranky had smacked back at him. Have you ever seen a clam swimming? Because if not, you should look it up. It's very funny, and you can imagine Clambo doing that. They kind of just, like, flop back and forth under the water. DK can use the Bowser phone in Mario Party, that is true. Croctopus the Octopus managed to grab Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong, but once again, on guard and his sword were ready. His rostrum. Get the point, Croctopus, said On Guard as he jabbed the octopus. Croctopus fled along with the others. The Kongs regrouped with On Guard, and they proceeded on the last leg of their undersea journey. You know, we haven't seen a Kremling in a bit, after all, except for the Claptrap. After the Claptrap died, it's just been all underwater guys for a bit. On Guard and the Kongs surfaced. A short distance away, they saw the Gangplank Galleon. The large wooden ship bobbed on the waves. Up on the tall mast, a flag bearing a portrait of the Kremling leader, King K. Rool, flapped in the stiff ocean breeze. That's the ship, Donkey Kong exclaimed. That's where our bananas are. So they're like, you know, he doesn't describe the Kremling Jolly Roger. It's just like a picture of K. Rool, like the one in DK64, the ship that goes around in Gangplank Galleon. That's where our bananas are. The Kongs thanked On Guard for his help and then swam the remaining distance to the Gangplank Galleon. The final battle was about to begin. I'm gonna spoil this for you. The final battle with K. Rool himself is gonna be really underwhelming. Hold on. Sorry. Victor is out there. Victor is out there being a menace. Yeah, the Kongs are all secretly Catholic, I guess. I don't know. Alright, here we go. Wait. That does look like a phone. I don't know. It's just some kind of, like, steampunky device. But it looks like it is... That's a phone. Yeah, that's a phone. That's just a phone. I'm looking closer at it. That is 100% a phone. Thank you. That is some good detective work, Reiji. Victor said, you know who else is underwhelming? K. Rool. Or, you know, just K. Rool in general. It's this guy. Anyway. The Kongs grabbed onto a rope that hung over the Gangplank Galleon's side. They pulled themselves from the water and used their natural climbing abilities to shimmy up the rope. Peering over the railing of the ship, they were shocked by what they saw. The old ship was teeming with activity. Kremlings scurried everywhere, carrying barrels of stolen food. As they worked, the Kremlings argued among themselves. They fought about whose turn it was to carry the barrels, whose turn it was to drop the anchor, and whose turn it was to clean the ship. Although from the look of things, it appeared that it was never anybody's turn to clean. Poor Gangplank Galleon, it's not in a good state. It's It makes me sad to think of like a ship being treated so badly and being all like messy and stuff. I love boats. I like to see boats happy and clean and in good condition. And there, in a huge pile on the deck, sat the load of stolen bananas. The noisy, crowded ship suddenly grew silent and still. 4 of the Kremling's leaders strode onto the main deck. Alright, the boys, they're coming out. I think, hold on. I think they were shocked by how, like, shitty the Kremlings are treating even their own property. Like, it makes sense for them to have moved into the treetop town and treat it like garbage and throw all the trash everywhere. But, like, even their own ship, they have no sense of decorum or respect for it, you know? Yeah, the tits are back. the big titty gang. Clump, the helmeted Kremling who had led the raid on the banana storehouse. Rock Croc, whose eyes glowed with evil light. Oh my god. Yeah, there wasn't a stop-and-go station description here, so Rock Croc's just gotta show up on the boat at the end. I don't know, just because he's like rock, he's like rock type, so I feel like he's weak to water, so just don't let him fall in the water, or it's over for him. I'm just picturing him being like rock and ground type, like golem. Kritter, a common Kremling who had risen through the ranks by being extra nasty. I love this, like, one Kritter who's just ambitious. And finally, god fucking damn, finally we get Krusha. A huge muscle-bound Kremling with spiked hair. Okay, so I know we went through this before, but this book is on the hair side of the debate, whereas many of us were on the spikes, just natural spikes side of the debate. So again, you know, some things in this book aren't canon, like the Kremlings not building the factories themselves, or Krusha having hair instead of spikes, you know, we're just gonna brush that aside. But Donkey Kong incinerating a zinger in a claptrap, that is canon. That actually happened. And we just all have to live with that, you know? When you play Donkey Kong Bonanza and you're like, wow, DK is being a good father figure to this little girl, you just gotta keep in mind that he has killed at least 2 people before. And do you think I ever told Pauline about the fact that he incinerated a zinger? Well, like, when they got to the core and they saw the zingers down there, was DK like, yeah, I know at least one of these guys burned to death because of me. But he was, like, unconscious when it happened, so it's probably fine. Like, he didn't realize. It was a painless death because he was unconscious already. Behind these 4 came King K. Rool. There he is! The supreme commander of the Kremlings, and the one who had ordered the banana raid. The Kongs watched this scene over the ship's railing. That's the guy who had put me in the barrel, Diddy Kong whispered, pointing at Clump. It's that King K. Rool I'd like to get a hold of, said Donkey Kong. He's the top Kremling, yeah. Me too, buddy. Me too. You know what? I got a hold of him. I got a hold of him right here. Hi, Rio. Yeah, this is the second time I've read this in this same year. Hey, DK, you awake? Alright. Yeah, the reason that the claptraps in Bonanza are all, like, sheltering inside those machine things where Hyle can't see them is to, like, try and protect... It's like a bomb shelter. Like, they will be protected from explosions and fires going on around them as long as they can, like, stay clamped in those metallic shells so Donkey Kong can't murder them anymore. King K. Rool addressed the crowd of Kremlings. My fellow Kremlings, he said, I have just received some disturbing news. Our beloved factory has been destroyed by those meddlesome monkeys, the Kongs. There's the boys. There you go. You know, I gotta take another break soon. It's a little too early for it, though, but this would be a good time to do it. Just leave it on this page, but we're not quite ready yet. You can't see the nipples in this image. It doesn't go down far enough, unfortunately. I want to, like, redraw this, though. Yeah, his crown is, like... It looks like a comb. It looks like it's two-dimensional. It's like they forgot to draw the crown on him, and they had to, like, add it at the last minute. I like that they're just all, like... They look like they're all giving, like, K. Rool's giving him a big group hug. They're just all together. A shocked murmur passed through this crowded ship. Silent! They were already, like, They were just murmuring, like, calm down, man. It's not like they were yelling. Silence, bellowed King K. Rool. This action cannot go unpunished. Therefore, we will leave at once for a full-scale attack on the Kongs in their jungle home. This will be no banana raid. We will put an end to those mischief makers. I forgot about the mischief makers reference. Once and for all, and we will put the Kremlings in total command of Donkey Kong Island. Yeah, so really in this book, like, DK has intensified the conflict by deciding to take decisive action against the factory. Like, he has really made the second move in the war, and stealing bananas was one thing, but blowing up a factory, I gotta admit, that is a lot more intense. So he started a full-on war with the Kremlings by his actions. A cheer went up. Donkey Kong knew they had to strike now or risk a battle that could destroy their home. Don't count your bananas before they're peeled, Kremlings, shouted Donkey Kong as he, Diddy, and Cranky leapt over the ship's railing and began to fling barrels. Surprised they have any barrels left after using so many of them to blow up the factory. Yeah, nobody looks like they're afraid of him here. Maybe every other Kremling is afraid of him except for these guys, like the top 4 dudes. And they're just all buddy-buddy. It's like how the critters in Super Sluggers actually have, like, good chemistry with him. He's got his favorites, but all the other Kremlings are scared of him because they were just murmuring, and he was just immediately like, shut up. Diddy Kong vaulted high into the air. Is he gonna use his famous double jump again? And landed with a yes he did. Next line. Landed with a double jump right on Rock Croc's head. He didn't even turn on the red light first? Well, maybe Diddy, you know, he's all dressed in red, so maybe the Rock Croc just got paralyzed just from looking at him in the full sunlight, you know? The Kremling crumpled to the ground. Yeah, he turned into his little, like, crumpled up rock form. Try that with me, little monkey, shouted Clump, stepping up next to Diddy. Oh no, Diddy's gonna get PTSD from the copious, bountiful breasts of Clump bouncing at him. Clump smiled as he adjusted his helmet, which protected him from attacks from above. I don't have to, replied Diddy. When I can do this! Oh, he finally learned how to deal with this guy. Diddy Kong spun into a cartwheel, catching Clump in the chest with both his feet. Yeah, he put one foot on each nipple and kicked him off. Right off. He flew right over the ship's railing into the ocean. Yeah, the nipples show you where to aim. That's for stuffing me into a barrel, shouted Diddy. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong, having bowled over most of the crew with his barrel rolls, turned his attention to the Kremling commanders. He pulled out a supply of mini barrels and began flinging them at Kritter. Kritter made his way through the storm of I'm just imagining, you know, like the animation he does when he's, like, feeding Scoff in DK64, or the tree Fractone. He's just, like, doing that. Like, he's just throwing the barrels like that. Kritter made his way through the storm of barrels like an explorer fighting snow at the North Pole. This Kritter is, like, a badass. Your tiny barrels don't hurt me, cried Kritter. Yeah, like, if he has so many barrels in his backpack, like, how small are they? Like, you know, you ever had one of those little, like, root beer candies that's, like, in the shape of a barrel, and it's just, like, an inch big? Like, that's what I'm imagining. He's just, like, flinging this tiny little barrel candies at them. It does not... Good night, Axel. It does not actually mention the nipples, but they are illustrated, so, you know. The book made sure to include them. Now he stood face to face with Donkey Kong. They don't, said Donkey Kong. Well then how about a hand slap attack? Donkey Kong slammed the deck in front of Kritter with the palm of his powerful hand. The ancient wood shattered from the force of the blow, opening a huge hole right under Kritter's feet. Kritter plunged down, crashing through deck after deck. He didn't stop falling until he reached the lowest deck of the ship. While Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong disposed of the Kremlings, Cranky got busy loading the stolen bananas into large empty barrels. Donkey Kong turned around and found himself face to face with Krusha. Let's go! The strongest of the Kremling commanders. Why don't you throw your little barrels at me, monkey? Laughed Krusha. How about if I throw my big feet at you instead, replied Donkey Kong. Alright. As he jumped right at Krusha, feet first. It's like the cover art of Tropical Freeze. Donkey Kong landed on Krusha with a tremendous blow. Krusha just shrugged it off. Was that a monkey or just an insect? Mocked the Kremling. Ooh, burn. You know what? I think Krusha is actually the best at burns out of anyone in this whole goddamn book. Well, true. I think K. Rool's characterization is accurate for this point, for what we know about him. Wait, what did I just do? I don't know. Diddy attacked from the side, cartwheeling into Crush's powerful arms. Oh boy, I wish I could cartwheel into Crush's powerful arms. The young monkey bounced off and landed on the deck. An even smaller insect this time, said Krusha. Let me show you real strength. Krusha lashed out, striking Donkey Kong with one arm and Diddy with the other. The two Kongs went flying to opposite sides of the gangplank galleon. As Krusha stood in the middle of the ship laughing, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong realized what they had to do. They had to work together to stop this most powerful Kremling. The two Kongs found long ropes coiled up on the sides of the ship where each had landed. They both flung ropes over the mast and made sure they were tightly secured. Then on the count of 3, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong swung from opposite sides of the ship toward the middle. They met right... They don't have to go through all this. Like, DK could have just... Maybe it's the gray Krusha. I don't know. Like, I feel DK could have just jumped on him. Like, they don't have to go through all this Rube Goldberg device stuff. They met right where Krusha stood, swinging into the Kremling from two sides at once. The combination of both Kongs hitting Krusha at once was too much, even for the muscle-bound commander. Krusha fell to the deck, stunned. I just imagine him, like, with, like, little stars around his head. Little bananas around his head. Yeah, I guess they ran out of barrels. DK threw all of them at the Kritter. Way to go, little buddy, Donkey Kong said. We make a good team, replied Diddy. This is not over yet, though, Donkey Kong reminded him. We've still got to stop King K. Rool. But the Kongs were too late. Seeing that defeat was at hand, King K. Rool had slipped away in his speedboat. There you go. They don't even fight him. I told you it was underwhelming. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He just leaves on his... He's got a speedboat. He just, he's like Captain Blubber at the end of Banjo-Kazooie. He's like, whoa-hey! Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong watched as the Supreme Kremling Commander sped away from the gangplank galleon, waving his fist in the air and screaming back at them, "This isn't over, monkeys! I will be back to destroy you!" Meanwhile, the remaining Kremlings abandoned the ship rather than face the Kongs without their leaders. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong's... There's no Kong there, I just added it. Soon discovered that during the battle, Cranky Kong had been hard at work. Not only had he loaded all the stolen bananas into barrels, but when the barrels were full, he had lashed them together to form a giant raft. Nice work, Pop, said Donkey Kong. This old monkey still has a trick or two up his sleeve, replied Cranky. Besides, I wasn't about to just sit around and let you two have all the fun. And to snooze the ads, I think we'll make it to the end of the book. This is the last page, or second to last page. The Kongs tossed the barrel raft over the edge and jumped off the ship onto the raft. They paddled the raft to shore where they loaded the bananas into the abandoned Kremling carts. Wow, they got a lot of them. When all the bananas were safely in the carts, the Kongs began the long journey home, pulling the carts behind them. You know, Cranky said to Donkey Kong, for a young whippersnapper, you did a good job on this little adventure. A warm smile broke out on Donkey Kong's face. Thanks, Pops, he said. Yeah, well, don't go all mushy on me. No, mushy? Whoa. That's some foreshadowing. Mush alert. You know, when Cranky Kong mentions mush in Bonanza, which he does at least once, that's actual foreshadowing. Donkey Kong smiled again. Then he turned to Diddy. And you, little buddy, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong said, You made me proud. You can go on an adventure with me anytime. Thanks, Donkey, said Diddy Kong, beaming with pride. You know, the Kremlings will be back, Donkey Kong added. And I'll give them a good thrashing again, said Cranky Kong, waving his walking stick in the air. We'll be ready for them, Donkey, said Diddy. We're the best team on Donkey Kong Island. Oh, the Kremlings will be back line makes me... That hits different these days, you know? Makes me happy. Makes me emotional. Thank you. Thank you, Michael Teitelbaum, for this... for this, yeah, this holy text. Alright, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Tell me what your favorite part of this book was. And when we get back, we'll read some comics. I will, change the credits music. There we go. What sound effects? Like the sound effect redeem? If that's the case, I'm not sure why that would be, but it's probably for the best anyway, so that I don't have to constantly be... You know what I should have done, though, is I should have had the sound effects up for when we were going through that story. And I could have played, like, the necky noise when they were defeating the necky. Do you think the claptrap was like, ow, when he was burning to death? Oh, okay. Alright, it's working. Hold on. Give me a sec here. Alright. Let me, Okay, 3. This one's for soccer. That was a roller coaster noise. That's kind of, or like maybe the minecart. I don't know. That's pretty, it's pretty intimidating, actually. It's kind of cool. That one's a good one. Okay, this one's for Andre/Jero. The Squawks, that's what Squawks said when he showed up and introduced himself. This one's for Reiji. Well, apparently that's the sound effect of throwing a barrel. This is what was played over and over when DK was throwing those barrels at the critter. It's just like... And then finally, this one is for RSDJ. Well, that'll be next time. Or not even next time. Next time is Donkey Kong Land. This will be when we get to DKC2. Alright. Now I'm gonna start cycling through just the music. I'll just let it play through. We have to, I'm going to return this book to the Internet Archive. Alright, now someone else can check it out. And we have to set up the comic again. Alright. This is going to be interesting because I have not really looked through this at all. Like, I kind of previewed it yesterday to make sure I could get the layout working and everything, but... Oh, hold on. Weird. I moved the thing onto a different... I might have to set it up. Why did it... What the hell? I might have to... Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on here. So... This first page of it is, like, much bigger than the rest of it. So I'm gonna have to, like, adjust as we go. Okay, so this is the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special, which was, I don't honestly know much about this. I would have liked to do a little more research before I started streaming today, but I did not get the chance, so, you know, maybe I'll find out about it and get back to you later, but this was apparently just a set of comics that you could just buy, I don't know where. I don't know where, if you had to like order this from Nintendo Power or if they were just selling it like where you would also buy your Nintendo Powers at, like magazine stores, magazine racks or whatever. But this is just a set of comics in here, 3 of them, and some extra bonus stuff. This is just like a fun little bunch of Donkey Kong Country content that was published, and you could buy it for only 1.99 euros or pounds or whatever that is. It's not bad. Was this like only a Nintendo of Europe thing? Did they have this in America? Yeah, maybe so, Andre. They were confused. It's like, why do I die when I jump on a rock croc or cartwheel into a claptrap? Michael Teitelbaum lied to me. I need to call the Nintendo Power hotline. Hi, Rainbow Sprinkles. Alright, so the UK got this awesome publication that we're about to look at here. Why is the beginning of this song in particular so loud? Hold on. Oh, never mind. For some reason, when I play the DKC sound effects, it, like, messes up my audio balance sometimes. Alright, so what I find interesting is the pinups. Like, they got some pinups in here, like, of Candy Kong. I don't know. Like, Clump is... What's that all about? I don't know. We'll find out. You're nice. Yeah, Feast Layer is one of my favorites. It is, big, though. We got the hot DKC game tips. So, you could win exclusive Donkey Kong Country goodies. I'm curious about what those are, and I wish I could still win them. I don't think it's still valid as a contest, probably. Alright, so... like I said, the cover of this is scanned in, like, way bigger than the rest of it, so we're going to have to zoom in and adjust and stuff again. Welcome, Kongsters. Again, tell me if the layout ever gets, like, weird. I think everything is kind of, like, in the same... Oh. Like, it shouldn't shift around the page anymore from this point, but... Alright. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see what this is all about here. The beast is back. Welcome, Kongsters. Shout out... Are you a Kongster? Shout out to all the Kongsters in the chat. I'm more a Crimster. But, you know. You're looking at the first magazine devoted entirely to the world's most famous ape, Donkey Kong. Well, okay. Were there more than this, though? Is it the first and only? I don't think there was a Jungle Action Special 2, unfortunately. So, I wish that there had been more and more magazines devoted entirely to the world's most famous ape, Donkey Kong, but this might be the only one. I'm a Kongster. It's more than a magazine, though. Brand new comic strips, features, pinups. They're really building excitement for those pinups. Hints and tips. A stonking competition? What the fuck is a stonking competition? Like stonks? What? Is that a British thing? Stonky Kong? Hello? I guess we'll find out when we get there. Is that a typo? I don't even know, like, what it would be if it wasn't stonking, like, like a stocking competition. Like, you win some stockings, or like a stocking stuffers for your Christmas stocking, or some socks. I don't know. Anyway, I'm excited to find out what that is. It's something really special. Yeah, apparently so. If you're one of the 7.5 million people who helped make Donkey Kong Country the best-selling video game ever, was that true? Was it like the best-selling game ever at the time? It might have been. Or even if you can remember right back to DK's arcade origins, there's something here for you. Get stuck in. Get stuck in what? This is so British, I guess. Just get stuck in. Alright. I'm stuck in, and I'm stonking. And remember, if you like the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special, let us know. We've got big plans for the Big Ape. The Kong Troll Crew! This is unhinged. Like, what does any of this mean? Alright. Donkey Kong in the Big Banana Robbery. DK loses his precious banana hoard with an E at the end. They like combine the two spellings of hoard into one. To the Kremlings. Again. The chase is on. I like the Kremlings with like the capital T. I don't know. The chase is on and an amazing secret is revealed. I am fascinated already. Meet the Family Kong. They're bodacious. They're outrageous. Get to know the wildest family in video games. Special preview. Donkey Kong invades the Game Boy or Donkey Kong Land. Take a special early look at thrills to come. Yeah, that's a preview for the next game I'm streaming. Kong-sized compo. We've got some seriously exclusive, seriously sensational Donkey Kong Country goodies for you to win. I still don't know what stonking means, though. Cranky Kong in A Blast from the Past. Cranky's past comes back to haunt him in the shape of a girl called Pauline. Oh my god, this is gonna get interesting. DKC FAQ. Frequently asked questions and hints and tips for the best-selling video game in history, Donkey Kong. Well, they've said it twice now, so I gotta believe him. A compo would be like a competition, I guess. At least that one I can figure out from context clues, unlike stonking. Guide to Drawing Donkey Kong. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have time to look at the complete book that's dedicated to drawing Donkey Kong and Friends today. We might have to do that at some point in the future. But we at least get a little preview. Secrets of how to draw the Big Ape himself is told by Ringo. Like, wow, man. Ringo is helped by John. Like, the Beatle? Is he an artist? What? What's going on in this book? I'm already so lost. I didn't think I would need to do so much research coming into this. I feel like I'm out of my wheelhouse here. Like, I don't know what's... I need it to be more British or something. I don't know what's going on in this book. We're already just, like, on the first page, and I'm terrified. Diddy Kong and Diddy's Day. Diddy shows he's made of fighting stuff. Donkey Kong gets the stuffing knocked out of him. Alright. Now, remember that this is an official Nintendo licensed product, so everything we're about to encounter here is completely approved by Nintendo, and it's canon. DK Jack Control. Oh, the Jungle Adventure. Wait, no. I was like, that's a Jungle Adventure, I guess comic? I don't know. I was like, what is Jack? I have no idea. I'm not prepared. I'm already scared. Hold on, I'm gonna move my stream preview over here. Alright, yeah, we're gonna get into the Pauline lore. This is gonna explain all of Bonanza. The secrets were hidden in the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special. Alright, summer 1995. Oh, baby. We're right into our first comic here. I don't know how well you can, like, see it, but, you know, I will read all the words to you. As long as you can see the art. Morning has arrived on Donkey Kong Island. Who is talking to him? I guess that's Cranky. I thought, okay, this is his alarm clock, but I thought he was, you know, my modern age brain, I thought he was, like, waking up and he's, like, looking at his phone. But, you know, again, we don't have phones in Donkey Kong yet. Hey, Donkey Kong, wake up, you nitwit! What? Morning already? Uh-oh, that means I've slept through my watch again. Diddy's going to be mad. Get a move on, Sonny. Okay, I'll be down in a couple of seconds. I like that his tie has, like, a period. It's got, like, the abbreviation for the D with the period there, but, like, there's also not one for the K. It's, like, just the D. Like, I don't know why they needed to just have one period, but not the other. It's... Donkey Kong, the big banana robbery. I like whoever scanned this in, or took a picture or whatever, they got their thumb down here. That, like, shook me for a minute. I was like, why is there a thumb? I like the way, yeah, I like DK's expression in this one. Oh, maybe quicker than that. Doof. Okay, who is doing all that hollering? Who else would it be, DK? Come on now.
Get off of me, you idiot!
Oops, sorry about that, Cranky. It was a rope, you see it.
Never mind that, you young hooligan. Why don't you take a look in your banana cave? Should be good for a laugh.
Also, you might hear my husband in the background, because, I was hoping to start earlier today and be done by the time that he had his own gaming that he was gonna do, but, oh well, if you hear a voice in the background, don't freak out, it's not a ghost. The cave, it's empty!
Just like the inside of your head, kid!
Ooh! Ooh. Destroyed. So let's take a look at some of these illustrations here, just for anything interesting. Okay, he's got two periods, one after the D and one after the K on his house, but on his tie, he's only got the one. Maybe the other one is just cut off, like we just can't see it. Aw. I like the space. I can't believe it. My entire banana stash gone. Wait till Diddy hears about... Diddy! He was on watch last night. What happened to him? I like that the, you know, the comic convention here of showing a character turning their head just makes it look like DK has two heads. The two-headed Kong.
Take a look at these, you big lug. Give you any clues?
Kremling tracks. Those don't really look like Kremling tracks to me. They don't look clawed enough, you know? How does he know that this wasn't just like Manky Kong stealing his bananas or something? I guess they're not other ape tracks because they don't have like the extra like thumb toe, you know, the opposable toe. Kremling tracks! The bananas and Diddy were taken by the Kremlings, those reptilian creeps! Okay, at least this is going to let us know what Kremlings actually are a lot earlier than the novel did. I mean, it has illustrations, so, you know, that helps, but he's calling them reptiles right off the bat. They can't get away with this. I'll save the little guy, not to mention my stolen bananas.
If you ever stop yakking, that is. My day, us heroes knew when to shut up.
No time to lose. Without the magical preserving properties of the cave, it won't be long before my bananas turn to mush. Okay, so this is what someone was talking about earlier. The cave prevents, like, it's like a refrigerated cave. It's got that natural, like, cooling ability to it. It keeps them fresh. So that's why K. Rool has to remove them from the cave so that they'll rot. It's all coming together. The whole DK series in the past 30 years has just come full circle, in such a satisfying way where it all makes sense.
I'd offer to help, Sonny, but I can't be bothered.
Okay, so this is a complete opposite of the novel where Cranky inserted himself into it. This time, he's just frankly admitting that he would help, but he's like, whatever, I don't give a shit. This is your problem, man. Take care of it, boy. I like this, this looks like a Rayman character. This little butterfly, dragonfly thing. I don't know what it is. It looks like that one weird mosquito from Rayman. This trail is easy to follow. Maybe a little too easy to come think of it. Anyway, yeah, once again we have the ambush Kremlings from the instruction manual. Like I mentioned earlier, they really... whoever was making all these fictionalized accounts of the game, they just looked at that one page in the instruction manual where it said Kremlings and it just pointed to nothing and they were like, I guess there's some Kremlings hiding there. They're hiding in the bush. And so they really made use of that. These guys are... They love ambushing. They love hiding in the jungle foliage and then popping out at you. I like the way they're drawn, though. It's cool.
Quiet, here he comes.
This looks like the end of the line.
Now! Attack!
You've had it, you flea-bitten monkey! Kremlings! Look at them. They have this, like, I don't know. They look kind of Battletoads-y or something, which would be appropriate considering their origins. Remember in the novel when, like, 5 of them teamed up on Diddy at once and he couldn't handle it? Well, okay, wait, Ramby's gonna this is Posh Ramby. Posh Ramby's here. I don't know if this is the origins of the whole Posh Ramby meme or not, but it could be, because the way he talks in this, I did a little previewing of it, and, yeah. So I was gonna say DK can handle these guys on his own, unlike Diddy, but I guess not, because he needs Ramby to come save his ass. Okay, so the person stopped putting their thumb in the picture. This is the real, like, narrative thing I'm interested in, is how this person is going to, like, press these pages down. Because they first started out using their thumb, and then they changed to putting, like, some paint cans or something. It's coffee cans, I don't know what this is. So DK says, "What have you done with Diddy, you scaly creeps?"
That's it. Hold him down. There's too many of us for him. Got you, banana breath.
Big deal. So what are you gonna do with me?
Hang on a mo.
So, all right. Got some. They got some 90s slang going on, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I ever said "hang on a mo."
I remember what it was. Hey, what's that noise?
And then pow, it's Ramby. I like is DK holding onto Ramby's horn here to, like, pull himself up, or is that just, like, a greeting that you do? Well, Posh Ramby also applies here. Yeah, don't you worry, I'm reading it all out for you because I know it can be a little hard to read on the stream. Mo is British, not 90s. Okay, I don't know. I was thinking maybe that was some slang I had missed out on because I was too young at the time. But do you think DK, like, grabs Ramby by the horn as a greeting? Just, it's like a handshake. You just touch his horn. Or do you think he's just, like, pulling himself up? I feel like if DK used Ramby's horn to pull himself up, that might, like, hurt him. So I'm choosing to believe it's just a handshake type thing. A horn shake. You had no clue of its origins? Well, its origins was here in the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special. It's said by a Kritter. Now you know. You're just, keeping on the proud Kremling traditions. Anyway, it's Ramby. Ramby, it sure is good to see you, big guy. The pleasure is all mine, Donkey Kong. Happen to be in the area. Glad to be of service, especially where Kremlings are involved. I'm giving Ramby a different voice in this because he I don't know, it's just like the way he talks. You'll see. This Kritter face is really good. Like, I could use this for an icon on Discord or something. Barrels! I guess this is what they had planned for me. This smaller one, I wonder. Man, yeah, Diddy's really in a tiny little barrel there. Diddy, you okay, little guy? I failed you, buddy. I let the Kremling sneak up on me and... Hey, take it easy, Diddy. If I hadn't slept through my watch, this may never have happened. But DK, your banana stash, how will we find it now? I think I have an idea. Now, where are those Kremlings? So somehow Ramby climbed up to the top of this little, little spire. I don't know. He's very agile for a rhino. I do not know how he got up there, but that's pretty impressive. So this is the panel that I used on my Blue Sky to announce this. So, DK is straight up torturing this Kritter to get some info out of him here. Ready to talk yet? Where are my bananas? And then Ramby says, I suggest you decide quickly, Kremling. I might fall off here any second. Okay, I'll talk. You're too late anyhow. They'll be at the Lost Mines by now. The Lost Mines? They're meant to be haunted. Hey, DK, you don't believe those stories about the Lost Mines, do you? All that stuff about ghosts and secret caverns? Well, yes, I do, actually. Yeah, me too, come to think of it. Ooh, this is interesting. So, are we gonna get ghosts in this comic? Really, I don't think about ghosts coming in until DKC2. Look at Ramby's face here, though. This This is posh Ramby, alright. Like, this would also be a really good reaction image or Discord icon or something. This is the place. Thanks for the lift, Ramby. A pleasure, Donkey Kong. I'd offer to come along, but I don't think I'd be much help to you down a mine shaft. One of my bananas. They came all this way, alright. Are you sure this... Clump over here, by the way. I see him. We haven't gotten to him yet, but I see him. You sure this thing is safe, DK? Nope. But it's the only transport we got. What does this lever do? Yarr! Hey, this is better than a roller coaster, right, little guy? Help. Yeah, they were really, They really set up how riding on this thing felt like a roller coaster, and I bet it was scary, but also really fun. And, I wish I could go on the real ride, maybe someday. Hey, look, what's that up ahead? I don't know. I can't seem to open my eyes. I really like the way Diddy is drawn here. When he's, suffering with the intense effects of the speed of the minecart. This is, like, a really cool panel in general. I just like DK with his, like, pointing. There, Clump with his nips and his tummy sticking out over the edge of the minecart. It's just really good. Once again, Clump actually, the star, the real star Kremling of DKCM. I'm sticking by that. It's them! And there's my banana stash! Hey Clump, we got a problem! At ease, soldier. Your leader has a plan. Oh, he is, I mean, I assume he's referring to himself here. Oh, he's straight up, calling him the leader. I mean, I guess he's the leader of... You know, he is a leader, but is he the leader? Like, would K. Rool be okay with him just calling himself the leader? He's getting a little too big for his britches, or his belt, his army belt where he keeps all his exploding oranges or whatever. Getting a little too big for his nipples. Here, peel a banana. Boss, this is no time to think about food. Silence in the ranks! Watch this! Oh, he's using the Mario Kart method. He's gonna knock him right off the tracks by throwing the bananas on him. Yeah, there they go. Whoops! You said it, DK. I missed this person's finger. They decided that the coffee cans or whatever were a better option. I don't believe it! We've landed on another track! Don't knock it, little buddy. Yeah, that is pretty fortunate. They used a skip. It's like in Rainbow Road or whatever. You just like skip to the other portion of the track. Or the slider in Mario 64. I do, yeah, I love him. Look at him. He's so good. This person, like, really put their all into drawing the Kremlings, and I appreciate that a lot. And I love, so, like, this was well before the cartoon, right? But I love how, like, Clump is so, like, militaristic here. Like, they give him a lot of the military jargon and stuff. Obviously, he does have the army hat and everything, so that's kind of implied, but that they, like, kind of embraced that part of his characterization. Yeah. These... I don't know, this is a... This is an interesting bit of lore over here, the statues of all of these past Donkey Kongs, perhaps. And I like the ancient Kong versus Kremling conflict depicted here on the wall. We're not to this panel yet, though. We'll get there in a second. Ha! Civilians! No discipline! Well, I wouldn't say that exactly. Darn! Flank attack! Soldier, prepare to retaliate! There's only so much you can do in, like, minecarts, Clump. I appreciate the, like, quick thinking and the, dedication to strategy here, but, like, what are you gonna do? Then again, maybe not. Eyes front, monkey boy. Nice try, pal, but I'm not stupid enough to fall for that old... DK, I really think you ought to look... Ah! And then I guess they fell off yet again. I'm not sure what's going on in this panel. It looks like they got to the edge and then, like, teetered on it or something. I'm not It looks like they got kind of sick and they like barfed. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. I'm gonna assume that they just fall off yet again and then they fall down to this other part. I don't really know. Wait, no, they're going into a portal. Okay. They're going into some kind of like magic portal, I guess. They're being saved by the spirits of the ancient Kongs. I guess that's the part about these mines being magic and haunted. And they found a bonus room, you're right. Well, some of them have nipples and some of them don't. Diddy, look at this place. Sorry, DK, my eyes seem to have gotten stuck shut again. Open them quickly, buddy. It's amazing. Okay, they're open, so what am I supposed to see? Hey, how did we get here? Never mind. Okay, so they went through a magic portal, but only DK got to see, because I guess, I don't know, maybe that's just destiny. He's the leader of the bunch, so only he can see the, you know, Diddy wasn't worthy of it anyway. His eyes were stuck shut. Maybe when Diddy's a true video game hero, he'll be worthy of seeing the ancient golden Kong statues. This is fascinating. Makes me wonder, like, what else is back here? Like, this door with a keyhole. If they had gotten to make more comics in this series, perhaps they would have explored what was in the mystical mine portal. Nope. Alright. Well, anyway, they were teleported back. Where the flipping heck did they come from? Is that, I guess that's Clump saying that. I love him saying that. Nips. End of the line, Kremlings. Uh-oh, full retreatment. Once again, what are you trying to do? You're in a minecart. What are you gonna do? Turn it around? So they jumped and they threw them out of there. And DK says, we've done it. We got the whole banana stash back, I guess. I don't know. Donkey, I think you'd better look behind you. What? Yeah! Okay, well, he actually saved their lives because he threw them out of the cart before they were all about to go tumbling out through the hole. So, you know, yeah, DK gives and he takes. He may incinerate a claptrap and a zinger, but he also saved Clump's life and this random critter, and now they owe him their lives, so keep that in mind. I will, Andre. This is his famous catchphrase. So, look at this on guard picture. Look at the fucking pissed off on guard. I love this so much. Oh no! I can't believe we lost him after all that. Hey big guy, look over there. How about that? The carts are floating. But we've still got the problem of how to get the things back to Donkey Kong Island. Hey guys, I thought it was you I saw flying through the air. On guard! Need any help? He didn't know what he was getting himself into, poor guy. And so, I'm telling you, little buddy, there was this huge cabin with these crazy statues and... Yeah, sure thing, DK. Anything you say, DK. No, really. And my big mouth. I mean, he's got a big nose, big rostrum. What is the secret of the statues? Will DK ever find them again? That's a story for another time. The end, for now. Did this comic predict Donkey Kong Country Returns with, like, the Golden Temple? And all of the different, like, temples and the K levels. Was, Michael Kelbow, whatever. That's how you pronounce it, right? Inspired by this comic. Alright. Well, that was a fun one. I like the art in this comic a lot. I like it when Clump says, what the flipping heck? Where the flipping heck? I guess, this is just a very short little mini adventure where K. Rool's not even in this. Clump is the leader, I guess. K. Rool's back on Crocodile Isle, just letting Clump do whatever the fuck he wants. Good for him. I wish Crusher was in this comic, but you can't win them all, you know? Alright. Now we have DK and Diddy staring into our souls. I guess we should read about them. It's not Kremling related specifically, but You thought Winky staring into your soul last week was something, but look at his big face. Meet the family Kong. They're bodacious, they're outrageous, they're a prime family of primates on Donkey Kong Island. Take a banana break and find out who's really who. Donkey Kong, the king of swing. Hey now. That's a good game. The prime primate, it's Donkey Kong. But this is not the Donkey Kong who kidnaps helpless females and carries them to the tops of tall buildings. It would take more than an Italian plumber to bring this ape down. As it turns out, Donkey is the grandson of the original Donkey Kong, and is, quite frankly, a great disappointment to his old grandpappy. Still, he doesn't really care what the old guy says about him. Most of the time, he doesn't even listen. Donkey knows that as long as he's got a cave full of bananas and no Kremlings in the neighborhood, he's got nothing to worry about. However, in a sticky situation, the big guy is the best ally you could wish for. Strong, tough, and fearless. His biggest problem is that he tends to rush into situations without thinking things through. This ends up getting him into all kinds of trouble. This is a good, solid little characterization of DK, you know? A good little character bible. The way they capitalize the big guy here makes me think he's like God or something. Here's Diddy. Although he would never admit it, Diddy Kong is a Donkey Kong wannabe. His ambition in life is to be a hero, just like the big guy. And although Donkey Kong would never say to Diddy's face, the kid certainly has potential. He's fast, agile, and has the heart to be a world-class hero. He just needs a little more experience. Unlike his big buddy, Diddy has a cooler head on his shoulders and tends to think things through a little. Not that this helps him much when he hangs around with Donkey Kong. Now Cranky... Funky's like popping a squat. Okay, I guess we're gonna get Candy next. I guess that's where the pinups comes in. Yeah, he's the king of kings and the big guy, capitalized. The big guy upstairs. Yeah, his treehouse is upstairs. It all makes sense. Donkey Kong was God all along, and that's why it's the Kong Cardinals, because every Donkey Kong successively has been God, and Cranky actually just passed down his godhood to his... No wonder he has such high standards for him, you know? To his son/grandson. Donkey Kong's grouchy grandpappy is actually the original Donkey Kong. Cranky's best remembered for the time he grabbed a girl called Pauline and carried her to the top of a tall building. It was here he had his first famous meeting with Mario. Unfortunately, what Cranky has to say about the heroic Italian plumber is unprintable. However, their exploits were turned into a Cranky's unprintable rant. However, their exploits were turned into a best-selling video game which took the whole world by storm. Since then, he is retired, some say banished, to Donkey Kong Island, where he despairs at his grandson's attempt to be a hero. Cranky never tires of telling DK about the good old days and all the adventures he had when he was young. Donkey Kong thinks that deep down Cranky is really proud of him and wants to see him do well in the hero business. Big mistake. Yeah. Victor was very excited about Cranky. Funky is the Holy Spirit, I guess. That's why he's like so similar looking to DK. Funky Kong, Donkey Kong's bronze surfing friend, usually hangs out at the island's many beaches. Funky hates to go on adventures himself. He's too laid back. He keeps up on the island scene and is a useful source of information at times. He also operates Funky's flights, an air taxi service of very limited range. One day it may go further, but only if Funky feels like doing any work. I like his pants. Oh yeah, there's the pinup. Also, Judge Dredd is here. Candy Kong. Hold on. Wait a second. That's better. It's Dread Kong. I can't believe all the foreshadowing in this book. We're even foreshadowing Jungle Beat. Candy Kong is the banana of Donkey Kong's eye, and one of his closest friends. Most of this is just taken from the manual. Although everyone assumes that they will get married someday, Donkey Kong's just not ready to settle down yet, in Candy's opinion. Candy is also very fond of Diddy and tends to pinch his little cheeks at every opportunity. Needless to say, this drives the little guy crazy. He wants to be taken seriously. Candy is thrifty and saves everything she thinks might come in useful one day. That's actually a really interesting way to take her, like, characterization as being the person who helps you save. That she loves saving things in general. She's just very frugal. I like that. Oh, Candy likes music and she's thrifty. She loves thrifting. The Legend of the Kongs. Rumor has it that ancient texts have been discovered which show that the name Donkey Kong has been around much longer than previously thought. In fact, there are said to be secret caverns containing mysterious gold statues located on the island. However, no one knows where these caverns are, let alone how to get into them. Until someone finds the caverns, the legend of the Kongs may never be known. Man, I'm really sad this didn't get to turn into, like, a full comic series. That would have been crazy. I want to know about the Golden Kong statues, and I want to know more about the legend of the Kongs. Yeah, I was thinking for a second that this was just going to be exactly what was written in the manual, and because Candy wasn't in this comic at all, they weren't going to, like, add anything to her. But they got a little interesting bit of characterization here at the end. I appreciate that. Alright, say bye to Judge Dredd. He's the judge, jury, executioner. He is the law. Alright. Whew boy, this is a lot. This is a lot. I'm skimming this to see if I want to have to read this whole thing. Maybe we'll come back to it at the end. I like the DK94 art here. They have to introduce people to the original Donkey Kong arcade game, if people didn't know about it. I mean, I didn't know about it when I was a little kid. This is Cranky, like, recounting... This is... Okay, hold on. This one, I don't think has any Kremlings in it, probably. But, I mean, who is this person? Who is this guy? I'm trying to figure out if I need to, like, read this. Got more Kremlings at the end. Okay, I think we can get through this whole thing today. Alright, so we're gonna read about the DK arcade because it's important context. Alright. How it all began. Donkey Kong, Pauline, DK Jr., Mario, barrels, ladders, and classic arcade action. Okay, that's not how it all began, really. DK Jr. wasn't in the, like, first one, but okay. Donkey Kong, a giant of a game. Think that Donkey Kong is a new character? No way. DK started life many years ago in one of the biggest, most important video games of all time. Professor Steve May, noted games historian, digs into the past. I like that he admits he's not a real professor. He's just like, I'm a games historian. I don't actually have my degree in games history, but... You can call me a professor if you want. Professor Chops, noted games historian. By now, you've probably spent hundreds of hours on Donkey Kong Island trying to save Diddy Kong from the evil Kremlings and more. Okay, first of all, hopefully it didn't take you like hundreds of hours to beat Donkey Kong Country, but if you've played it again and again, good for you, you know? Trying to save Diddy Kong from the evil Kremlings and, more importantly, recovering your stockpile of stolen bananas. I like that that's more important than saving Diddy. They're just straight up admitting the bananas are more important than him. Alright, sound effect time. Hold on. Alright. Are we all awake now? That was the sound that the factory made when it blew up and it killed the claptrap and the zinger. I really thought this was gonna say Steve Mails at first. Like, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, they interviewed Steve Mails for this? Unfortunately not. But as you blunder about the beautiful computer-generated world of Nintendo's latest hit cartridge, did you realize that the legend of Donkey Kong can be traced back through an incredible 11 previous Donkey Kong games, to the very beginnings of Nintendo itself? The first DK. The original Donkey Kong was actually the very first ladders and levels video game. Is that a genre? Is that a genre I should be aware of? Oh, it was the first ladders and levels video game. Okay. It made its first public appearance at an arcade owners trade show held in Chicago in October 1981. Where are all the ladders and levels indie games out there? I'm tired of Metroidvania. I'm tired of roguelikes. I'm tired of deck builders. I need some more L&Ls. The game also marked the first appearance of a certain plumber called Mario, then called simply Jumpman. In what was essentially a pixelated reworking of the classic giant ape movie King Kong, our diminutive, mustachioed hero made fruitless attempts to rescue his girlfriend from the grasp of the irate ape atop a tower of steel. While Donkey Kong Country offers 33 levels with 67 bonus rooms and 7 boss areas to explore, you know, I'm glad they were frank about it just being like 33 actual levels and not like 100 areas. The original Donkey Kong thrilled with just 4 increasingly difficult levels. The first and most familiar involved having Mario running up 6 shattered girders toward his captive girlfriend, Pauline. DK would roll barrels down the girders in an attempt to thwart him, which in turn would create fireballs when they hit an oil drum at the base of the screen. Should Mario get tagged by either the barrels or the fireballs, or run out of bonus points, he would lose a life. Should he climb to the top of the tower and rescue the girl, he would be rewarded with a big red heart. Sometimes he rescues the N64 token instead. Alright. Another sound effect. Alright, like jumping on very naughty, I guess. This romance, however, was to prove short-lived, as the heart would promptly break in two and he would be dumped onto the game's second level. Here his task was to remove 8 golden rivets from a pile of scaffolding while collecting bonus items, hat, purse, and umbrella. With this screen completed, he went back to climbing a more frantic version of the first level. Wait, this isn't how it is in DK64, but I'm really honestly not an expert in versions of Donkey Kong outside of DK64. This is like the NES version. Alright, RSDJ. Yeah, it's hard to hear, but that's the little spiny going like hoo hoo. Oop. Okay. Level 3 of the original Donkey Kong involved moving elevators and flying iron rivets. I'm confused on their description of the structure of the game here. Oh my god, I'm gonna need to turn these sound effects off or I'm never gonna get through this. Alright. Okay, an extra life. I need that. I need that to give me energy to get through all of this text. Although this might all sound rather naff, it's a testament to the challenge of the original arcade game that few players actually survive long enough to make it to the 4th level. Success in Donkey Kong came not through violence, however tempting it may have been to use the hammer and smash the oncoming barrels. I thought it was gonna say, however tempting it might have been to, like, knock the arcade machine over, like, use a hammer and, like, destroy the screen. Yeah, there were like so many different versions of this. I don't know what version of the game this is. Oh, okay. It was that kind of loop where they like added a new level each time. Interesting. Anyway, it came not through violence. By far and away, the most successful approach was to jump and run. The nearest you'll find to this original Donkey Kong game now is the recent Super Game Boy release. At first glance, it's much the same, although DK connoisseurs, with a K, will tell you that the gameplay is a shallow reworking of the classic. Yeah, why are they, like, dunking on DK94? Why didn't they... It's a good game. Like, it's not a shallow reworking of the classic at all. It's, like, far more complicated, and Mario can do, like, insane flips and stuff. Did they even play the game? I don't know. It's like they got this info secondhand, you know? I don't know. There are several rumors that the original Donkey Kong game is buried somewhere within Donkey Kong Country. Wait. Hold on. Did people believe that, like, the DK arcade was hidden in Donkey Kong Country? We didn't get that until DK64, which I did think was, like, the coolest thing I had ever seen at the time. Even though I didn't like playing the Donkey Kong arcade, I thought it was cool that they put a video game in another video game, and Jetpack was also... I like Jetpack way better. There were, like, crazy, like, rumors of secrets even back in the day in the SNES era. I wasn't really introduced to that sort of thing until, like, the N64. This is probably because Cranky Kong says in his cabin that he's leaving to play the original Donkey Kong game. However, no one yet seems to have found the buried game code, so there's some doubt as to whether it's there at all. Is the Donkey Kong arcade game hidden in Donkey Kong Country and just no one's ever found it? I guess they had originally moved on to, like, trying to sell people on DKC so hard that they were just like, yeah, you can dunk on DK94. That was last year. This came out in 1995, this magazine. The success of the Donkey Kong game was almost instantaneous. DK arcade machines could be seen in pubs, clubs, colleges, amusement halls everywhere. An incredible 65,000 arcade machines were sold. Compare that to one of today's arcade hits, Street Fighter 2, which is sold just 50,000 machines to date. Yeah, Street Fighter 2, get fucking owned. Donkey Kong joined the likes of Pac-Man, Asteroids, and the venerable Space Invaders in the Video Game Hall of Fame. Inevitably, this success spawned sequels. The original arcade game was followed by Donkey Kong Jr. in 1982, Donkey Kong 3 in 1983. When Nintendo launched its home video game consoles, DK wasn't far behind. How many of these have you got? And then all of these: Donkey Kong NES, Donkey Kong Jr. NES, Donkey Kong 3 NES, Donkey Kong Jr. Maths. It was Britain, so they put the S at the end of math. It's Donkey Kong Jr. Maths in 1985, Donkey Kong Classics, Donkey Kong Country, and Donkey Kong Land. Woo! It would be really funny if the reason that they haven't put Donkey Kong 64 on the Switch yet, on the Nintendo Switch Online, is that they're gonna like replace Jetpack with something. They just put like some other old like Nintendo NES game or like arcade game or something in there. they put like Donkey Kong Junior Math in there instead. Donkey Kong Junior Maths. What's in a name? So just how did a big ape get the name Donkey Kong? Several theories exist. An early explanation insisted that donkey was in fact a rather unfortunate misspelling of monkey. On Nintendo's official line is more philosophical. Shigeru Miyamoto, head designer at Nintendo in Japan, claims that the character was so named because although cute, he was as stubborn as a donkey. This could be considered plausible, but Miyamoto later blew his credibility, wow, by claiming that the character was inspired by the legend of Beauty and the Beast. A story with very few apes in it when you come to think about it. Alright, wait a second. I don't think I'd ever heard that one before. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but I would say it would only be inspired by Beauty and the Beast in the sense that, like, probably King Kong was also inspired by Beauty and the Beast. Like, not the Disney movie, obviously, but the ancient fairy tale story. The reality of the situation is that in the early 80s, donkey was a popular Japanese slang word for crazy. I don't know if that's true. I'm questioning Steve May, not Steve Mayles, on this one. I've never heard that. Remember that in the first game, DK is an angry, crazy ape throwing barrels at poor Mario. This also neatly explains why a load of unofficial lookalike games of the period sported the name Crazy Kong. I always take random stuff that people say about, like, video game factoids with a huge grain of salt. You know, next they're gonna be telling me that Miyamoto said that he thinks DKC sucks and people only liked it because of the graphics, you know? Woo! Alright. I gotta take another break, honestly. This article's tiring me out. When we get back, we'll finish it and we'll read the rest of these comics. And that'll probably be it for today, honestly. Well, I wanted to look at the Christmas comic with Bomberman and Wario. But this has taken me a lot longer than I was anticipating. So we'll have to do another session, maybe next weekend. But we will talk about that later when I get back from my break. I'll see you in a minute. Alright, back to this. Oh, let me turn the music down. Alright. Donkey Kong Country is the most successful video game in history. Apparently, so I've been told. Over 7 million carts have been sold so far. It has also set amazing new standards for 16-bit video game technology. The high-density 32 meg cartridge features stunning, completely computer-rendered, super realistic 3D graphics. Indeed, the cast of Donkey Kong Country were created using the same software and Silicon graphics workstations and supercomputers that helped bring dinosaurs back to life in Jurassic Park. Rich and photorealistic detail, courtesy of UK software company Rare. Let's go, I'm wearing the Rare hoodie and everything. DK's computer-rendered world is enough to turn any self-respecting hedgehog blue with envy. Oh, got him! Eat shit, Sonic. I mean, this company also made Sonic comics. Maybe they shouldn't, like, be eating their own lunch here. I don't know if they were doing it yet, though. So it's kind of funny if they did this first and then they had to, like, make a massively successful Sonic comic that's, like, still ongoing today, right? Is that true? I don't know anything about Sonic. And up here it says, left, the original Donkey Kong game in all its 8-bit glory. It may look pretty crude now, but the gameplay is still brilliant. Right, Donkey Kong Jr. turned the tables and had DK, a prisoner of Mario. Jr., bottom left of screen, had to swing the vines to save his paw. Anyway, working in conjunction with Nintendo's ace designer Shigeru Miyamoto, Rare recreated Donkey Kong and his new supporting cast using a step-by-step 3D image building process with 3D wire polygons and trilinear bitmap interpolation, whatever that was. It doesn't mention that here, but effectively building virtual skeletons, and then they scanned in various textures like fur, wood, and leaves. Special lighting effects were later added. For extra realism, videotapes of real apes shot at Twycross Zoo were studied and their movements copied. An amazing 22 years worth of man-hours when I thought it was 18! Didn't it say 18 in the, like... Okay, well, to be fair, I think the game hadn't come out yet in that, like, one Nintendo Power interview, so they put a full 4 more years of man-hours into it in just the last, like, couple months. They had crunch time. The computer they used, they crunched 4 whole years into, like, a month. The computer they used was so powerful, the firm had to get the permission of the Ministry of Defense to import it to the UK. Whatever way you look at it, Donkey Kong is a phenomenon in video games history, but with new DK games on the horizon, it looks like the Big Ape will be making headlines for many years to come. I mean, that's the position we're in again, I'm hoping. Donkey Kong in 1994. A faithful adaptation of the original appears on the Game Boy, complete with girders, ladders, barrels, and Mario. Did they only play, like, the first 4 levels or whatever of DK94, where it is just, like, a really simple recreation of the arcade before it becomes, like, an entirely different game? Maybe so. That could explain it. Okay, but there are still Sonic comics going on. I guess it's not the same company. Again, I don't know anything about it. But this company did make Sonic comics, right? Alright, speaking of comics, let's get back to that. That's enough reading the tiny text. So, whatever the fuck this comic is about, I'm gonna read it anyway. Cranky Kong, a blast from the past. At home in his cabin, Cranky Kong is having trouble with his plumbing.
Dang, blast it! How can a pipe this big get blocked?
And it says blurp, blurp, and it says shuka, shuka, shuka.
What I really need is a plumber.
And then, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. If this guy popped out of my pipe, I would lose it. I would die. I would, like, have a heart attack if this man popped out of my pipe. Also, look, his tie changes every panel. Like, okay, he's got, like, a polka... It's like he's going into the wardrobe closet in Bonanza and changing his tie. Just imagine this strange journalist pops out of your pipe and his tie is just, like, rapidly changing. Like one of those GIFs where it's like, stop the GIF and see what tie you get today. Anyway, this guy, yeah, he came out of the sewer pipe.
Hey, now that's what I call service.
Oh, hold on, I don't even think I read this. I got too distracted by this man. And Cranky's like, yeah! This guy says, I have arrived! Another magnificent entrance! And Cranky says,
hey, now that's what I call service. But next time use the door, will ya?
Forget it, Donkey Kong. I'm no plumber, and I'm not here to fix your pipes.
Huh, it's not Donkey Kong anymore, Sonny. Nowadays they call me Cranky. Look, Buster, what do you want anyhow?
I'm an ace investigative reporter. I just want to ask you a few questions. Does the name Pauline mean anything to you?
Pauline? That was a long time ago. Yeah, I was still living in the city in those days. I remember last time I saw her.
I'm listening. Go on. Also, his hair, like... His hair sort of, like, changes and reacts to what he's doing, I guess.
I've always had a weakness for tall buildings, you see.
I thought he was about to say, like, I've had a weakness for tall women, and I thought this was gonna get weird.
Ever since I met this plumber. Anyway, it was a few months after that I found another building, and well, I couldn't help myself.
Wait, is this guy supposed to be, like, Jumpman? Is this supposed to be Mario? And he doesn't even have a mustache yet. I don't like this. This is lending weight to the... Maybe this is another thing. I don't know. This is lending weight to the Jumpman as a separate character from Mario theory, because I'm never going to believe in my life that this guy is Mario or, like, even related to him, honestly. Huh? That sounded like a scream, but this is the 5th floor. Yike! And now I'm seeing things! Hey, you big ape! Ever hear of deodorant? Poor Pauline. You know. whatever we're acknowledging is the timeline here. This Pauline has gotten a little too up close and personal with Cranky than anyone besides Wrinkly ever needed to get. I call the cops, but they'd never believe me. Yeah, Pauline, her design has changed very little. Adult Pauline, anyway. Rawr! What is it with you and tall buildings, you big ape? It's something I saw in an old movie once. This is probably just some dumb publicity stunt. Still, that girl might really be in danger. Oh, electricians aren't meant to climb buildings. Oh wait, so he's an electrician? Is this Jumpman? He's not... Wait. Is he a carpenter or an electrician or a plumber? Because I thought Cranky said, you know, he had bad... I don't know. This guy's a jack of all trades. He can do it all. Yow, that barrel missed me by a whisker. That doesn't, monkey boy. Now you're getting me mad. Hey, if one barrel made you mad, how about two? Somehow, this guy got knocked off, but I guess he caught himself on this, like, girder here. Nice try, Furface. But it's going to take a lot of barrels before you hit me again. Wanna bet? Wait, I wonder if the twist is that this guy is gonna end up to be this, like, he got older, just like Cranky did, and he's the mysterious, guy who pops out of the pipe and has a magical tie. That's what I'm predicting here. Yeah, Pauline is pretty big. She could defeat Cranky / Donkey Kong. She could just, like, punch him. Now that I come to think of it, that was a really stupid thing to say. Huh. Where'd the little guy get to? I didn't think I'd hit him. Alright. And then he's inside the barrel. And he says, Peekaboo! What do you want to go and do that for? You scared the life out of me! And Pauline is just like, if you boys are quite finished, I'd like to go home now. Sorry, this song is a little loud. Yeah. And that's ruining my dress! Oh, okay, at first glance I thought she was, like, kicking him in the nuts, but she's just stepping on his foot, I guess. Ow! It was only a bit of fun. Can't you take a joke? That's what you always say, Buster. I'm tired of being dragged to the tops of buildings. I'll find a way of getting even with you. So, okay, this implies... I guess this isn't Mario or Jumpman or anybody. It's just some, like, dude who just got involved in this. Because I guess Cranky just did this to Pauline all the time. He was just always grabbing her and running off with her to the tops of various tall buildings. Oh, I see. So he describes here that the plumber was the first time, so that was the whole Mario / Jumpman thing. And then later, he found another tall building and just decided to do it all over again, and that's what this is. That's when I realized it was time for me to get out of the city. Couldn't hack it, eh? Is that when... Oh, couldn't hack it, eh? Is that when you moved to this island? I may have a few more gray hairs, but I can still take care of myself. Oh, that's... I thought that was, this guy's... It's kind of hard. I thought he was revealing here that he actually was the guy. But that's Cranky talking. He says, I may have a few gray hairs, but I can still take care of myself. It's just that right now my arthritis is playing me up something rotten, and I've got something to show you. Yo, Pauline is now, in addition to being the mayor, she's a established author. Take a look at this. The Girl and the Gorilla by Pauline. She doesn't have a last name. Everyone just knows who she is. And he's got his gay pride tie on here. Good for him.
Lies, lies! She called me a gorilla! It's an insult, I'm an ape! I never did that, or this.
Aren't gorillas apes? He's got a fish tie! What the hell? It's the hottest book in the city. She's on TV, radio, and the papers. I like the fish tie, I'm not gonna lie. Not to mention the movie. Yo, it's the Donkey Kong movie! Look at this. He is a slobbery boy.
She's making me out to be a...
Oh, he is a slobbery boy. See? She's not wrong. Pauline is never wrong.
She's making me out to be a monster. She knew it was just a joke. Look at this picture. I never drool.
King K drool over here. Relax, old timer. That's why my paper sent me. To get your side of the story. And if you have any really good stuff on Pauline, we'll pay plenty.
Pay? Why didn't you say so in the first place? I'll tell you the truth about Pauline, but I warn you, it isn't pretty.
Oh man, we're gonna get the Pauline lore. It's happening. The first time I carried her to the top of the building. Just kidding. What is Pauline's dark secret? Will Cranky spill the beans? That's another story for another time. Oh my god. We could have had the entire... The mystery of Pauline and the timeline could have been solved if they had gotten to continue with these comics, but alas, you know, we missed out on that, so now we just don't know. Now it has to be a debate. That's this entire comic, I guess. Also, his hair is completely erect in this panel. The horrible tie man. What's your favorite tie of his? Mine has definitely got to be the fish. Well, that was a comic. Cranky did not get to spill the beans. We did not find the bean in this randomizer. Well, alright. Now we got some more game stuff before we get to some other Kremling action. Oh yeah, I snuck this song into there too. Into the DKC playlist. Alright, here's a DKC FAQ. I'm interested in what they're going to say here, but I'll try to get through it pretty quickly. Where's a good spot to get lots of 1-ups? Jungle Hijinks is a great spot to build up extra lives. Alright, you know what? I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to look through it and see if there's anything... Look, it's the PAL version. It's the... He is pointing right at this Kremling's butt. Right at his thigh. It's more like his thigh, I guess. Is there a code or trick to get the original Donkey Kong game? Man, people... I guess that was a thing. That was the original Stop and Swap. I didn't realize people were obsessed with this idea. Not to our knowledge. There's a rumor that there's such a code, but it appears to have begun from one of the gaming mags. This was the original, like, DK64 scroll of gameplay. Is this true? You can get more than 99 lives, it just counts up to 99? I don't know if I've ever had or needed more than 99 lives in DKC. It says, the game stops displaying how many lives you have after 99, but it still keeps track for as long as you get them. I.e., you could have 120 lives, but the game will just say you have 99. Is this true? Does anyone know this? How many endings are there? 2. The only difference is when Cranky Kong is talking to you. If you found everything, he'll congratulate you. If you don't find everything, he'll tell you that you missed some things. Okay, they're talking about the exclamation marks here. They're telling you how to erase a game. That's important. Jumping further. Climbing faster. DKC H&T. Hints and tips. As if you didn't know. I mean, if you just said DKC H&T without telling me that it meant hints and tips, I would not know, actually. I would have no idea what that stood for. Oh, that's neat. I literally never... I'm learning something new from the DKC FAQ in the Jungle Action Special. Let's see. Steve May is back. I know all this stuff. I'm a pro. I didn't know about the lives thing, but I know all this, like, basic gameplay stuff. Wait, they're talking about the warp to the Congo jungle. Was that like intentionally put in? I always thought it was just like some like weird ass. I didn't learn about this until I started speedrunning the game. I never knew about this my whole life, but the warp from like to Orangutan Gang basically. Was that like intentional? Because it's really weird to be a glitch if it is, but they just knew about it back then. That's kind of crazy. I literally never knew about that for most of my life. Here's Ringo. There he is, Ringo Kong. Now you know. Oh, he's like a nerd. He's got like a Star Wars shirt, and he's got like a little bit of like a neck beard thing going on. Who is this guy? How come I never hear about this guy? You hear about like Uncle Kong, Fedora Kong, Redneck Kong, whatever, all of the like rejected Kongs, but how come I never hear about this dude? I've never seen Ringo Kong before in my life. Hiya, banana fans! Ringo here, Donkey Kong's very own cool and groovy cartoonist. Today I'm going to show you how... I feel like he needs a British accent, but I don't trust myself to do one well enough. Today I'm going to show you all how to draw your very own Donkey Kong, so here we go with Ringo's Guide to Drawing Donkey Kong. You know what? Maybe I should save this for when we look at the other art book. You know what? This is just 2 pages. We'll look at it. Well, yeah. I don't know. This guy. He's a character. Start by drawing a circle with a line going from the top to the bottom, straight down the middle. Then you should draw a line across the circle, but this time it should be a little lower than the middle. Alright. Then you, immediately underneath the horizontal line, you should draw a kind of squash circle. This is where the mouth goes. Next you add the eyes. These should rest on the horizontal line. You see... I should bring up my art program and follow along here, but maybe we'll do that for the actual drawing book. Next you add some details, e.g. the mouth, nostrils, ears, eyebrows, and silly curly hairstyle. Yuck, yuck. I heard that. Oops. He's dunking on DK's Jimmy Neutron hair. Like, this guy has any room to talk about, like, personal style. Come on. Next we color in and outline it black. If you're using felt tips, it's best to color first, then outline in black. Also, he has this attached to the wall, like, with all, like, the tape, but this one is just nailed in. This one is stuck on with gum, and this one has, like, Band-Aids. I hope those aren't used Band-Aids. Oh, I gotta start the soundtrack over. Not bad, Ringo, but what about my body? You shouldn't hide away such a great physique as this, you know. Cool your boots, man. I was just coming to that. Ringo looks like he went to the Bonanza closet and just put on some, like, random costumes that didn't go well together. The body, step 1. What is this attached to the wall with? Hold on. What the... Please tell me what this is actually supposed to be attached to the wall. Ringo, please. Yeah, did they have the rights to Star Wars? Yo, it's Kitty Kong from the commercial. Hold on, we'll get back over to there. I'm gonna turn the music back up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna try to not look at what these things are attached to the wall with, and I'm just gonna read how to draw Donkey Kong's body. For the body, we start by drawing this shape. Again, we draw a vertical and a horizontal line, but this time the horizontal should be in the middle. Next, we draw oh yeah, DK's pecs there. We're not drawing clump, though, so no nipples. Next, we draw 2 circles resting on the horizontal line. This is to become the chest. The legs start off by looking like sausages. Yuck, yuck. That reminds me, I might just get some lunch. Yuck. Stop yucking it up, Ringo. This isn't funny. This is serious. DK says, get on with it. This comic is making me lose my mind. Alright. The arms are drawn in basically the same way as the legs. Just think sausages. Will you stop talking about sausages? Oops. Alright. The hands are drawn as balls and feet are kind of squishy balls, you dig? They're squashy balls, you dig? Fill in the details and he's just really, like, glazing past the, like, fingers and the toes, which are some of the hardest parts to draw, but okay. Fill in the details and you're ready to color and ink the lines. Groovy. Yeah, don't forget about his, like, D.K tie. Of course, before inking over the pencils, you can have a bit of fun by adding clothes. Yeah, so, DK's shirt here says the horrible apes, or really the horrible apes, because it's British, so they just have, like, an apostrophe. And then this is it's Super Kong! And, yeah, Kitty Kong from the DKC3 commercial. And... he's got tattoos over his fur here. That's pretty impressive. And this version of him is like, tripping balls. And, yeah, Donkey Kong is not pleased. Don't draw the rest of the fucking Kong. Alright. Well, I hope you've all thought of sausages enough in whatever this is in the background here. We're moving on from Ringo. I have to move on. I can't look at this anymore. We gotta look at some Kremlings, please. Please, I need to look at them. Alright. This is like pretty much the end here, just this last little comic. Alright. Diddy Kong and Diddy's Day! In a secluded part of Donkey Kong Island, Diddy Kong practices. Practices for the day when he gets his chance to be a hero. Yeehaw! I like the art in this one is so much more, like, realistic. I don't know, this is a it's interesting that Diddy Kong gets, like, the more grounded story here. Yeah, finally we get some Krusha in this goddamn today. Like, he's barely shown up at all. Smooth! My cartwheel attack is really shaping up. It's a pity Donkey Kong isn't here to see it. Oh, but little did Diddy know that DK was creepily spying on him through the bushes. Look at Diddy's just like... I don't know, just the way he's just sitting there so gormlessly, like he has no idea what's going on here. Yeah, I was looking at this. The Claptrap's getting a little hungry here. This is how K. Rool lost his tail. Claptrap just ate it. And DK says, so this is where the little guy's been sneaking off to lately. Oh well, I guess I'll be going back to my bananas. I guess Diddy's entitled to a little privacy. And then Diddy sits down on a rock and says, oh, the rock is a rock croc. That's cute. The rock is laughing at him. Diddy sits on the rock croc and says, huh? What's that noise? It sounds like laughing. Wait a minute, something's wrong. And the rock is like, got you, you little squirt. A rock croc. These guys are like all outside of their caves. It's a shame that we only ever see them show up in caves in one level in DKC. They really would be like super good at like the whole stealth ambush thing. Oh, wait a second, I missed this panel. This panel comes first. So Diddy says, the rock's giggling. What am I saying? Rocks don't have a sense of humor. These guys... Okay, wait until you meet the Fractones, Diddy. Or Odd Rock. Yeah, Rock Croc looks so fucking cool. I love this. Like, look at him. And, they all look good. I mean, the Claptrap kind of just looks like Trace Claptrap from the manual or something, but... Anyway, Diddy is not fazed by this. Diddy and his eyebrows. He's just like, you don't scare me. Huh, well I should. Even alone, I could take you out in a couple minutes. And, but he's not alone, because he's got the boys backing him up. I don't know if Clump is going to be in this one, because he got his time to shine in the first comic, so... Krusha, this is Krusha talking here, I'm pretty sure. Krusha says, go on, kid, run and get Donkey Kong. It's him we really want anyhow. And then, oh, he says, but then of course I'm not alone. The little, I guess the text is supposed to go like this, and then over here, a little confusing. And then... I guess this person is also on, like, the Krusha hair side of the argument, because here it looks like it could be spikes, but when you get, like, further on, the way it kind of, like, goes different directions, it really looks more like hair. Oh yeah, this one even, like, bends down here. So... Most official sources seem to have been on the hair mohawk side of the debate back in the day, but I don't care. You know what? Let me have the spikes theory. Anyway, Diddy says, no, I don't need any help. I can take you all on. DK says, you know what? DK is here to, like, just observe. He's seeing how Diddy handles himself by himself. And DK says, that's telling him, little buddy. Still, I think I'll stick around. Maybe help Diddy out. Without him realizing, of course. And the absolutely fucking terrifying Kritter says, you asked for it, get him! Diddy says, no, I've gone and done it. The Rock Croc... Okay, first of all, it's interesting because Rock Croc's supposed to be the one who has the glowing red eyes and everything. Well, he does usually. He just kind of lost them for a second here. I was like, he looks extra cute in this panel, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because he doesn't... It's because they traded their eyes. I see. The evil spirit left Rock Croc for one panel and went over to the Kritter. There is a comic that has K. Rool in it, but I don't think we're gonna get to it today. We'll have to get to it next time. So anyway, after Rock Croc traded his evil energy to Kritter temporarily so that Kritter could be extra intimidating. I don't know if the Claptrap's gonna talk or if the Claptrap is just... Oh, the Claptrap says, yeah, but we'll get to that. So DK is helping Diddy out discreetly by throwing a rock at Crush's head. Bonanza foreshadowing. And, I feel like, okay, so like most of the Kremlings in these comics I just wanted to point out because they didn't have hand claws yet. It would be until DK64, I think, when they started to get, at least some of them would get hand claws. And not even all of them had it then, but so they've just got the normal human hands at this point. Of course, they got claws on their, they've always had claws on their hind feet, but not necessarily on their, like, front hands. Anyway, Diddy is... I like the way the, like, roots on this tree are. That's neat. Diddy is, kicking him, receiving a little secret help from DK back here. I like this image of... Hold on, I'll get you a sound effect. Random sound effect. Alright, save barrel. Diddy better save in the middle of this level with all of these guys attacking him. Oh my god. Alright, another one. That one seemed very similar to the one I just played. Oh! Cleaver? Or Cutlass, or both. Anyway. This Diddy is like a really good reaction image. Look at him. I've got to even the odds a little. I wonder how good these guys are at climbing trees. Well, they got claws, so they look probably pretty good. I don't know. You can dig into them. Hey guys, if you want me so much, come and get me. I like that this is pink. This panel is just like pink for emphasis. You gotta do that in comics sometimes. You know, you gotta just like switch it up and do a weird color scheme just to make things interesting. Having everything just be like the native actual colors of what it should be is boring. Sometimes you just gotta... It's also easier to color everything in like a mono color. And it's more interesting, so it's a win-win situation for the artist and the reader. I can't tell you, Jero. It's probably just some Twitch thing on your end, and if you, like, refresh, it might work for you, but Twitch just bugs out sometimes. I haven't done anything to your account that would, like... I don't know if you, like, ever time someone out or something, maybe it stops them from being able to redeem stuff, but not that I know of, anyway. I know you got, like, auto-modded that one time, but that's happened to other people, too, and didn't affect them, so... I don't know, it's probably just a Twitch thing on your end, unfortunately. Anyway, they're like, where'd he go? He was here just a second ago. And then, looking for someone, lizard breath? I don't... What order do these panels go in? It's a little confusing. This is... Did he get knocked off or not? I don't know. I guess he's fine. He didn't get knocked off the tree. I see. Yeah, he's like, huh, the kid thinks I'm finished. Didn't see me swing round behind him. Now for a little surprise. He's looking at Diddy's butt and he's about to knee him in the ass. He's about to kick his butt, kick him right out of the tree. Like how many teeth he has. Like, holy shit. His teeth are jam-packed into that mouth. And then, he's getting donked by the Kong. Oh, they're working again. Okay. Here you go. The beautiful sound of Rambi jumping. Okay, and then the Claptrap is also here, and Diddy says, "Gotta be quicker than that to catch me, Claptrap." And then the Claptrap just falls off. This guy is not very good at his job. You know, he's gonna get blown up in a factory later, and K. Rool is not gonna miss him because he was not the MVP Claptrap. And he's like, yeah. Alright, this is the last page here. Last set of pages. Then good old Rock Croc, our favorite, with his mini abs. His beautiful abs right there. Says, "Think you're pretty smart, don't you?" "Not you again." DK says, come on, Rock Croc, just move a little this way. I love how big a deal Rock Crocs were, despite only showing up in one level in DKC. I mean, they were in the manual, and people thought they were really cool. Even that guy from the video, from the DKC Exposed video, he was like, my favorite part of this game are the guys that turn into rocks. Everybody loves them. They need to come back. Like, they should have come back in Bonanza. That would have been such a perfect time to do it, you know? Thematically appropriate, but maybe next time, you know? Everybody loves Rock Crocs. So he just punched the foliage here, and Diddy says, missed me by a mile. Rock Croc says, yeah, I hit something alright. Yeah, he punched DK in the face instead. Something sort of soft and squishy. DK says, duh. And then he donks all the way out of the tree. I'm warning you. You take one more step and you'll be sorry. Why, what you gonna do? Cry all over me? I mean, if he's rock type, that might actually do some damage, you know? The wetness. Diddy says, nope, I'm gonna do this. And he traps him, and now he's... I like this panel. They're gonna do the Spider-Man kiss. You can't just leave me like this. Can't I? Your creepy pals will probably free you. In a few hours or days, bye! Can't he just curl up into a rock and, like, wouldn't that free him? If he does the rock mode thing, it would just, like, pull his foot out of there. Or maybe he would just be awkwardly stuck and, like, part of his rock body would be stuck in the trap. But maybe, like, that would be enough weight to, like, pull him out of it. You should try it. There's no green lights around to help him, that's true. Yeah. His buddies have to bring him an off barrel to get him out of there. The next day at Donkey Kong's treehouse. Hey, big guy, you're not gonna believe what I did yesterday. Hey, DK, what happened to you? What happened to me? I'll tell you what happened to me. Oh, can't let the kid know I was trying to help him. Would you believe I slipped on a banana skin? The end. That's cute. And then... I don't know why. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this, like, random Spanish insert is. This is just at the end of the scan. Donkey Kong is the protagonist of his own comic. The British followers of the Nintendo Gorilla can, like, acquire... Okay, like, my Spanish isn't good enough to read all this. This is just like an ad for this. I think this is maybe just an ad for the thing we just read, but I don't know where it came from. Okay, well. Alright, that was a lot. So, here's the thing. There's, like, more comics and stuff that I wanted to look at, but we spent a lot more time on all of this today than I was expecting. And, I wanted to read the Christmas Wario and Bomberman comic at least. Let me see if I can pull that one up. I have to, like, Wario's Christmas Tale. Here we go. I gotta resize it again. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm gonna put the, like, Christmas lights back on. Is this... Yeah, this is just, like, one page at a time. This has, like, literally nothing to do with Donkey Kong except for this one critter, I'm pretty sure. But it's festive, so we're gonna read it anyway. This gets to be a part of the Kremling Kronology. Thanks, random critter who shows up in a single panel. Yeah, Andre, I just, like, I'm gonna need some time to digest everything that we just experienced in the Donkey Kong Jungle Action Special, which I had never experienced before. Like, I just really don't know what to say about it right now. I gotta think about it. We'll come back next time and maybe I'll have more to say. At At some point before we move on to, like, Donkey Kong Land, I want to just have a discussion for, like, an hour or more where we just talk about everything that we've been through so far before we even move on to the next game. So, we'll come back to it. But right now I'm going to turn on the Christmas music. I'm going to close VLC so I can just restart it. Krena, I'm not gonna lie, you missed a lot. But you can go back in the VOD and watch it, or watch it when I put it up on YouTube. There was some Rock Croc content that we just got through. There was a lot of good clump action. I don't know why VLC doesn't want to open again right now. The Kritter's just shopping for some bombs. Sorry, my music program is deciding to just doesn't want to open up again after I closed it. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, can you hear everything? My mixer decided to also freak out for a second there, but I think we should be good now. Hi, Ben. You're here just in time for Wario's Christmas story. I don't think I have the twinklies on this scene. Hold on, let me put the Christmas lights out. I gotta go over here to get them. There we go. Now we're all festive. Now we're ready for Wario's Christmas story. I think this was in German originally and has been translated. Hold on, I have my, like, list, my database list here. Yeah, this was originally in German. Just so you know. Just, it's appropriate, because Wario is supposed to be, like, a German guy originally, so he's always like, so ein Mist! So, you know, appropriate. The Germans love Wario. Okay, alright. let's do this. Yeah, you know, originally in, like, the very first games where Wario had voice lines, they told his voice actor that he was supposed to be German. So the thing that he says where it's like, everyone thinks he says, "Do I missed," he's actually saying, "So I missed," which is like, it's basically like, "Aw, crap," or like, "Aw, shit," in German. Mist is like a word for, like, poop, basically. So, now you know. But I still like to say, "Do I missed," because it's funny. Alright, everybody. It's Christmas. Not just here, but also in the video game world. But not everyone seems to be aware that the Feast of Charity is around the corner. I like Bowser here. Bowser's also going to, you know, even Bowser buys from Wario's shop, apparently. And here's Bomberman, who... I do not know why Kirby is in a cage, and I don't know if we're gonna find out. But we'll see. And it looks like this is the, like, Americanized Kirby, where he's like, swearing angrily. The Kirby who says fuck and shit. Well, Gott in Himmel is, like, dear God in heaven. You know, the Germans have a lot of expressions when they're angry. Or upset, or surprised, I guess. So, Bomberman, who works for Wario, possibly making the bombs, I don't know, says, "Welcome to Wario's bomb store. Here's the marzipan bomb you ordered. Merry Christmas." So, is this like a real bomb, or is it just like a candy bomb? Does it explode into marzipan? Do you have to throw it specifically at Marzipan from Homestar Runner? It's like one of, it's like, is this a bomb or is it cake? It's one of those situations. I've heard about the mist thing. I think it was like Fräulein specifically. Anyway, Bomberman sold the bomb to the Kritter, and then the Kritter left, and this is no longer a Kremling comic, but we're gonna read the rest of it anyway. He says, "Phew, exhausting." Wario says, "Get back to work! I'm not paying you for doing nothing!" And even Kirby was surprised. And then Wario went back to his office and is watching whatever the fuck this is on TV.
Alright, Wario, I'm at it. Oh, a customer.
Shut up out there! Oh, that was Bomberman. I was like, why? I just thought Wario was talking about himself in third person. And he's like, I'm at it. He's like, I'm at watching TV. That was Bomberman, sorry. Alright, Wario, I'm at it. Oh, a customer. Shut up out there. The Hugo show is starting. I don't know who Hugo is. This guy here ordered a surprise bomb. What am I supposed to give him? Who is this guy? Is this a guy from some, like, SNES game or something? Does anyone know who this is? And here's Kirby. Talkative Kirby. Oh no, this is Wario talking and he's going to paint. This is what Kirby is being kept in the cage for. This is crazy. Wario says, "That I will. I've got a surprise for you. I've got a job for you as a surprise bomb." Kirby says,
"Let me out of here already."
"Stop! This color doesn't suit me!" He, like, taped over Kirby's mouth so Kirby can't suck him up.
"Cram it, Cream Puff!"
"Here's your surprise bomb, sir. Enjoy it." Out of sight. So whoever this clown is, I mean, wouldn't he just, like, see Wario do this? He was, like, standing right there at the counter. I guess he just, I don't know, he doesn't care.
"This idiot is in for a big surprise."
A few minutes later. That's strange. The box is moving. Whoops! Wario, you tricked me! Instead of a bomb, I got a chatty Dreamlander, you villain! Boss, will I get a vacation over Christmas? Poor Bomberman.
A vacation? You dare to ask me such a thing!
This is page 69, nice. Yeah, so like, Bomberman is Bob Cratchit and Wario is Scrooge. Bomb Cratchit.
"You good-for-nothing loser! I'm giving you a vacation forever! You're fired! Don't show your face around here again!"
Poor Bomberman. He's like, pew! He's blasting off again.
"I'm done for today. I'm going home and hitting the hay."
I've definitely seen this panel before. It's this is what this is from. Alright. This is how Wario sleeps. He just sleeps completely, like, splayed out with his arms like that.
"Money, money, money. Women, women, women. Power, power, power."
By the way, I just like this, like, scene setting. It's just it's like a painting. It's just a painting of like, a city at Christmas time. It's very simple, but I like it a lot. It's very lovely. Oh god, Toad voice incoming. I mean, isn't Wario not gay? Or he's at least bi, if he's dreaming about women. Yeah. Greedy bisexual Wario, perhaps.
"Wake up, Wario! You're a bad person! Therefore, I'm going to show you something. I'm the ghost of the past and will remind you of your life thus far. Get up and follow me."
"A ghost, please don't hurt me."
"But whatever did I do?"
"But what did I ever do?" That's what he says.
"You'll see soon enough. Look here. It all started in your childhood."
We're getting the Wario backstory. Baby Wario.
"You were already mean to everyone even back then. And because of that, people always like Mario better than you."
Okay, we don't see him being mean. I thought this was gonna show him, like, kicking Mario's sandcastle over or something. But he's actually just building his own, like, he's completely innocently building his own sandcastle. And everyone just likes Mario better anyway. Kinda sad. Oh, I see. On prom night at school. You had the hots for that girl, but Mario was much nicer than you. Oh man. I like Peach dancing with Mario, and he's so short that she just has to, like, pick him up.
It's no surprise that she danced only with him.
Yo, Link is here? I'll admit, I was always evil. Only ever did bad things. Alright, Link is also talking. Much like Rambi and On Guard and all of them. Characters that you don't normally see talk are going to be talking today. That's the magic of Christmas. Link says, "This insight comes a little late, Wario. I'm the ghost of the present." Wait, Link should be the ghost of the past. Wait a second. Come on now. Come on. Link should be a Link to the past. Let's be real. They really fucked that one up. I'm the ghost of the present. See what the people think of you today. Oh, it's, the blue bomber. Poor little Bommy, you fired him. I don't have any money to buy presents for my friends. Kid Clown and Kirby are mad at you, too. I still don't know who Kid Clown is. Well done, kid. Try to hit his nose. That I will. Take that, you villain. Oy vey, I never wanted any of this. What can I do? I don't know why the clown is mad, because, like, he got a free friend. He thought he was getting a bomb, but he got, like, an entire buddy. Like, him and Kirby are buddies now. They're just hanging out throwing darts. You think Kirby is, like, shooting the darts out of his mouth? Like, he sucks it up first, and he does, like, pew thing. I've never played Kid Clown. That one didn't stand the test of time, unlike all the rest of these characters, I guess. Alright, yeah, I actually haven't read this whole thing, so I don't know. If Samus was the ghost of the future, that would be really cool. Let's find out. Oh no, it's just the Grim Reaper. Maybe it is like a Wizrobe, I don't know. That's a little disappointing.
And now, finally, I will show you your future.
Help, spare me! I'll set everything right! It's the Reaper from Grabbed by the Ghoulies. It's Spectre Knight. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it's him.
I'm the ghost of the future. Follow me and see what the future holds for you.
A toy store in the future. Do you have any Wario games? Wario? Of course not. Nobody cares about that mean guy anymore. Oh, Victor, I'm getting the Wario lore. I'm almost done. What's up? Oh, it could be the Grim Reaper from Kid Icarus. You're so right. We're gonna go with that. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Let's Kid Icarus Grim Reaper. We'll go with it. Alright. Wario, of course not. Nobody cares about that mean guy anymore. He's right. Wario is lame. We'll get the newest Mario game instead. You know, I'm pretty sure people like Wario because he's mean. If Wario was just a nice guy, nobody would give a shit about him. That's true. Samus wasn't spooky enough.
Now go on, Wario. Look whose grave rests on that hill.
Wario is actually Christian, apparently. That or they just didn't care about his religion when they were burying him.
So lonely and abandoned. Forgotten and neglected. It's your grave, Wario. Only you can still change your fate. Start now, Wario. Change and prove it to yourself and to those who know you that even inside of you there's a good person. Else I will return.
Gulp. He's right. I was a terrible person, but I will change myself. I'll become even more terrible. I'm going to make up for all of it. Bommy, my friend, I'm sorry. You're hired again, and you can have a vacation. Yes, I did it. I'm going to give these cookies here to Kid and Kirby. Delicious. Burp. I like Wario's car. This is his car, the Wario-mobile. After Wario had apologized to everyone, he was nonetheless still alone. Hello, friends. He decided to spend Christmas with his erstwhile friends, if they would let him. There's Yoshi. Wario, what a surprise. Come in, it's Christmas after all. Yoshi. Hello, Mario. I know I was evil, but I'll change. And thus Wario did manage to change, at least for Christmas. It remains to be seen how long his kindness persists. But at the Christmas party, everyone agreed to wish him the following. Merry Christmas! I realize the Kingdom Hearts music might get me muted here. Oh well. if that happens. You know what? I'll just read this again some other time in the future. Kind of forgot about that. That happens sometimes. But that's the end of this one. Diddy's here. Diddy and DK are here. And that one critter who bought the bomb is going to, like, throw the bomb at them and destroy their entire Christmas party. Hold on. Getting the Victor alert. He sent me the Yoshi face and said new emote. That is pretty good. That's a good emote. I still gotta get the Chris Berman emote, though. I got too many of them. No, Andre, because Victor did not remind me again. Look, if I get muted, I will just have to read this again at the beginning of the next episode, because that's, you know, that's a good idea, and I should have done that the whole time. We'll see what happens, though.
Boarding!
Jesus, fuck! Victor, stop! Stop doing this. Alright, anyway. If I need to read this again, I will. Technically, this, I mean, you know, it's not the most important thing, but it does have a critter in it. The critter is buying a bomb so he can get revenge for the factory that was blown up. You know what I can actually do, though? I can local record me reading the parts of it if I get my sound muted and then, like, just plug it into the VOD. You don't want to know what pork boarding is. You really do not. Trust me. Anyway, it's been fun. I'm out of energy for today, and we have more comics to look at and other stuff too. And not even to mention, we have more, like, things that were originally in English or German to look at, let alone all of the, like, Japanese stuff that I still haven't really figured out what I want to do with that, if I want to, like, bother trying to translate it in any way, because most of it hasn't been translated. At least, like, the gag comics and stuff. So, we will have another episode next Saturday, I think. Around about the same time, hopefully. I don't think I have anything going on. And we will get to the rest of those comics and other stuff. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a while before we get to actual Donkey Kong Land, I think. But like I said, DKC itself has, like, an extra large amount of, like, extra stuff that goes along with it. Not every Donkey Kong game is going to have so much extra material to look through, but, you know, back in the day there was a ton of supplemental material for Donkey Kong Country, all these comics and novels and stuff, so, like, not every game is gonna have this amount of extra material to go through. But, I'm, like, really hungry and tired. But this was a lot of fun. Yeah, we're done. It's been 4 hours of reading. And I might have to split this into 2 videos, because I had a lot of problems trying to process the first episode, and that was, like, 5 hours long, so I might split this into 2, like the novel and everything else. But, yeah. Next week, around the same time, more of this kind of thing. And, I'm really hungry and I can barely think. I can only think about food right now. Reading about all these bananas all the time made me want to eat something. But I will see you then, and I will see you on 2 days from now, right? 3 days? I'll see you on Tuesday. Tuesday's gonna be my next stream, I think. That's when we're doing Waluigi the Grinch, my annual tradition of playing Mario Party 3 on Chilly Waters, 50 turns. I'm only allowed to steal stars instead of buying them. So that'll be a good time. And then, yeah, I will see you then. I hope this comic made you feel a little more festive. Oh, are you gonna stream tonight, Victor? Oh, well, no, we already talked about this. You said you would let me have it. Yes, you said you would let me have it. You can do Tiny Tuesday if you want. I'll do Wario the Grinch, and then you can, Waluigi the Grinch, and then you can go straight into Tiny Tuesday. How about that? Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay, bye. Bye. Alright, Victor may stream later tonight, but if he doesn't, he'll probably stream tomorrow. So if you want to watch Victor play a PlayStation 2 game called SOCOM Navy SEALs or whatever it's called, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat. I'm hungry. Bye. I will see you soon.